With rates as low as 4.9% for 60 months on GM certified vehicles, you can find new roads without the high price tag. Check out the 2022 Chevy Trailblazer LT all-wheel drive with only 36,000 miles, or the 2022 GMC Arcadia all-wheel drive SLE with only 15,000 miles. With a 6-year and 100,000-mile powertrain, limited warranty on all, and an additional 1-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty, you can drive with confidence knowing your vehicle is covered. Visit us online anytime at StevePoneyChevy.com to browse our complete inventory. Steve Ponte Chevrolet, Route 28 in Herkimer. See why it's always easy to do business at Steve Ponte Chevrolet, your family-owned and operated dealership. Customer must qualify top tier through GM Financial. All taxes and fees due on delivery must take delivery by July 31st, 2023.
Utica and the Mohawk Valley. Kevin Fear from Mattress Express. You know we have a beautiful store in Oneida on the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters, but we just moved our new Hartford store to 4488 Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. It's a beautiful, bigger superstore on Commercial Drive in New Hartford. No one else in New York State has all these brands under one roof. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy Hybrid, Purple, Puffy, the Number Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, and more. And check out these grand opening summer deals on select luxury king and queen sets like the Number Bed by Instant Comfort. Get an 85-inch flat screen TV or a beautiful Weber stainless steel gas grill. Any king or queen set in the store, $9.99 or higher, other than Tempur-Pedic. Get a free adjustable base upgrade. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. Go to mattressexpressny.com or stop into our new superstore, Commercial Drive, New Hartford, next to Pet Supply Plus, Mattress Express.
Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, you want to predict what's going to happen with New York Mets? Do they begin selling, or remember when? What year was it when the Mets brought in Cespedes at the trade deadline, and all of a sudden he started knocking the ball out of the park, inspired the whole team, canary yellow, and they made the playoffs.
I think it was 2015. It was that
long ago. Wow. Yeah, then, of course, Cespedes. Speaking of getting in freak accidents, right? Didn't he hurt his, wasn't it like a ski-doo type thing?
So he did something
on
a jet ski, and then I want to say as he was rehabbing, he claimed to have broken both ankles while riding a horse.
Good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that was great.
Yankees, of course, evening up the series last night, and it is a 2 wins apiece for both teams over the series.
Yeah, that's what it amounts to, is a split of the 4 games. I wish they played 2 more, and I wish the Mets brought the bats last night.
How about tomorrow night? Is it Powerball? No, it's Mega Millions tomorrow night that will reach $910 million. We may have $2 billion lotteries in a week and a half of each other.
And what's the total again?
Right now, for tomorrow night, it'll be $910 million.
Or as they say in New York City, minimum wage.
Yeah.
Oh, I had the big shot there.
You could try it again.
Minimum wage.
I knew it would be there. Let's see what else. Brandon Williams in the hospital recently underwent bypass surgery. That's amazing because you're walking the same day the surgery occurs. It's incredible today. But a complication occurred. The surgery was done in Syracuse. Complication occurred as he was in Washington, and now he's in a D.C. hospital. What do we know?
A spokesperson saying the health issue needed to be addressed immediately. The Republican lawmaker will not be taking part in votes on Capitol Hill during the rest of the week. And it just says that he had his bypass procedure done earlier this month and that it couldn't wait until he returned home to get whatever issue he was having looked at.
It's an interesting way of almost implying there was some sort of an emergency, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So he will be out of commission through the week. And did you see Mitch McConnell yesterday? That was shocking to see. I don't know if Davey saw that. But Mitch McConnell was giving his regular briefing, his regular Senate briefing, when all of a sudden a question was asked and he went into a stare, almost as if he had had a stroke. And it lasted for, did you see this yesterday, Davey? Yeah. I'd say it lasted for what, about 15, 25, maybe 25 seconds? Mm-hmm. He just stared as people were waiting for an answer. Oh, it's unbelievable to look at.
There has to be memes online claiming that he's like, under mind control or
well, no,
he's
I don't
like
think
a robot.
I don't think there's any fooling around with this. This seemed like a serious medical issue.
Yeah, and then earlier this year he had the concussion. Remember that?
Right, he fell. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary about Mitch McConnell.
Well, listen, our political leaders are up there, right? Way,
a lot of them, yes,
way up there,
are quite old.
And this one, almost now they took him off. They helped him off. They walked away. They were gone for a little while, and then they came back, and he answered questions. And of course, reporters were saying, "Can you tell us? Are you okay? Did something just happen?" And he's like, "I'm all right. I'm all right." If only Andrew were here to do the real impression.
That is pretty good.
Because he can barely answer the questions these days anyway. What do you think of President Biden, Mitch McConnell? All right. Next question.
I think he's about 4 years older than I am.
Yeah, bad. This looked very, very bad. So I don't know what happened. They're saying he felt dehydrated and lightheaded, maybe. And for that reason, he was just when the question was asked, he was just staring off into space. Very alarming.
So, and he was escorted away, though, after that incident.
They escorted him away, but then they brought him back out, and then he answered questions. What do you think that happened? You have to think now. It was a senator who was also a physician who first came to the rescue. They took him off, backstage, if you will, and then I don't know, 10, 15 minutes later they brought him back out. What do you think they did? Did they pull out smelling salts? You think it's the first thing you do if you're in sports, and at least when I was in school, and you started to feel like lightheaded or something, they get the smelling salts out.
So we never had those in high school. I almost feel like
maybe they don't do it anymore.
Yeah, is there damage?
I don't
know.
know.
You hurt
I don't
yourself?
know.
I've always wondered about that because I would see that in movies growing up as a kid. They would
smelling
use the smelling
right.
salts to immediately
boxing.
revive
You'd see
you.
it. You always would see it in boxing.
So
and then it'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, here I am. Let me get right back in there.
McConnell said he just felt lightheaded. I think they started hollering, "Where's Biden's water bottle? Where's Biden's water bottle?" He's got to get a sip of that. That's like the magic potion there.
Well, something got him back. He didn't look all that much better when he came back, but he was able to answer the questions, and he went through the rest of the press conference. So, not sure. Yesterday, I don't know if you watched any of it. We'll talk to Fox News' Ryan Schmelz coming up in a second on the congressional hearing yesterday. I watched a good chunk of that yesterday. And are you thinking about, does it make you think at all? Does it make you think, just wonder, like what would... Like right now, we have credible former military. These are credible figures in our military, not a bunch of whack-a-moles. wackadoos. These are credible whack-a-mole. These
Wackadoo.
wackadoos. These are credible former military people saying, not just saying we've seen something that we do not know what it is, so it falls into the category of, they don't call it UFOs anymore. These are credible former military people saying, we are in possession of not one, but several non-human spacecraft, we'll call it. And the way they worded it was non-human. The way they worded it was, we are also in that event, in one of those events, we did obtain biological matter. In other words, they have in their possession the remains of a, quote, being. That's what they're saying. And
that's what they define the biological matter as? It
well,
wasn't
he
just
said, well,
like,
let's just call it biological matter. But it's, yes, a being, a foreign being. So this was testified to yesterday on Capitol Hill.
Is there
Republicans and Democrats, they seem to work together. It was the most bipartisan thing I've ever seen. They were shaking in their boots. And listen to this. They all testified that this is not an abnormal occurrence, coming in contact with these non-human crafts. Trying to get the plural, the singular right. This is not uncommon. It happens. We come in contact with these unexplainable aircraft on a regular basis.
Did they shed any light on?
Sir, are you telling me that these are performing in a way that would be technology we currently do not have? That is correct, sir. We don't have any of the capabilities today to be able to do what these vessels are doing. For instance, stopping in midair, making an immediate right-hand turn, accelerating to the point where they fly by our planes and what have you, at a velocity that's technology currently does not exist and is currently not in human hands.
Okay, so here's my question.
What is your question?
The vehicle or the craft that they have.
Not one, several.
The crafts that they have.
Yeah.
Are we able to in any way operate or maneuver them?
No one asked that question.
Or we just, what we've seen from these similar crafts was that, that's not human. It can stop in midair and it can go this way and it can accelerate faster than anything else. But have we been, with the crafts that we have recovered that are non-human, have we been able to operate those? And a follow-up to that is, have we been able to reverse engineer and get any information out of anything? Now, I would imagine that's top secret because
good question. And
what the U.S. government has versus what Russia has or England.
I believe that the military person said, I could answer that question, but I'm not willing to answer that in this current public setting. There were 3 or 4 times they said that.
Who was testifying? Alex Jones?
These were three credible former military members. And then it was asked, certain questions were asked, and they would, like, for instance, would someone, by the way, Davey, they're saying the app is acting up. I don't know if you could look into it, or you can't. The other question I thought was very interesting is, would current members of the military confirm what you are testifying to here today? And the answer was yes, absolutely. But it would have to be a closed door meeting, and you would have to put them in a position where they were protected from any disciplinary. They would have to be kept quiet. But the answer to that is but the answer to that is yes. I mean, this to me was just shocking to listen to. And part of it you're like, "Oh, really? Give me a break." But just for a moment, think about it. Imagine if, and they're saying we're coming in contact with these out of our current technology spacecraft or aircraft. We're coming into contact with these on a regular basis. Just imagine for a second if all of a sudden we're at the point where, yeah, we made contact, we're speaking with them, and we're going to try to work things out.
Well,
or what? Or what?
Well, when you say try to work things out, is there we have a conflict with them? And how do we communicate with them?
I'm surmising. I'm not saying this was testified to. I'm just saying, how do we how do we go through all of this? How do we handle this? Are we at the point where we're coming to the point in mankind, in our generation, where we're going to be we're going to have knowledge of foreign and outer space intelligence? This is what they're testifying to, and it's not being done on George Norrie overnight on IBX.
So, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because I'm extremely fascinated. There's a couple of different stories. First of all, Scott Flansburgh referred to one on yesterday's show, the Human Calculator.
And he sent us a couple things yesterday from this testimony.
The other thing, so it was basically a large craft, very large, with lights, and was able to maneuver. And the fact that it vanished in the blink of an eye made people think or say that it was not a human craft. That happened in front of. There was a lot of witnesses to that. Now, the thing you mentioned about Coast to Coast, there was a notable unsolved mysteries, but even going back with Robert Stack, and then when they did the new iteration, I think in the last 2 years, they focused on this story again of this series of beings, crafts that were over Lake Michigan. They were all lighting up and like communicating with each other, I think they were going into the water and out of the water. And it was like a guy who had worked in that job. He was like an air traffic controller and had worked in that job for his whole life, 30 years, something like that. So another very credible person.
Yeah, these are credible people that are speaking about this.
What do you think is in our oceans? Because there's old hieroglyphics.
Well, you have no idea, and we already know that we struggle getting down deep, right? We saw that with that Titanic vessel.
There are hieroglyphic photos of crafts from the sky, like going into the water.
United States Air Force officer David Grush just stated under oath in a public hearing in front of distinguished members of Congress that the U.S. is in possession of multiple, not one, non-human intelligence cadavers. There
you go. Yeah, okay.
And multiple, not one, non-human technological flying craft. Today's hearing was unprecedented and historic. Planet Earth learned today that we are not the only intelligent beings in the universe. Sworn testimony included a flying black cube inside a clear sphere, a hovering red square the size of a football field. Are you hearing that? A hovering red square the size of a football field. Objects going from 0 to Mach 2 in the snap of a finger from 12,000 feet. Did something just happen?
The sign just slid down.
12,000 feet to 80,000 feet, which is space, by the way, in the snap of a finger. All of this documented and recorded. According to all three sworn witnesses today, there is not a single nation on Earth that could potentially own this type of technology because according to today's testimony, our planet hasn't yet achieved the structural material to manufacture an object that can withstand an instantaneous acceleration from 0 to Mach 2 in the snap of a finger. Today's materials would disintegrate.
Yeah, that is scary.
Mike responded by saying, I can't believe we are assuming that we are also intelligent beings. You would kind of assume that maybe they are far ahead of us because how did they get here, right? But if we have wreckage, that means they too are not a perfect being, right? They have not created the perfect technology because obviously it's not perfect. It's crashed, or did we shoot it down? Is that possible? And I think they answered that a little bit yesterday by saying, I don't know that that we would be able to shoot it down based on the speed in which it's able to operate.
Right.
And then somebody asked, are they interested in our nuclear technology? I would almost think they're probably way ahead of us with that. But the answer to that was it could be. So Ryan Schmelz is coming up in a few minutes. We'll speak to him about it. But wow, that's all I can say out of this.
So for once, Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC are on the same page on an issue, huh?
I guess. Does she say there are aliens?
That they were both in shock and awe. And
by the way, AOC was on the panel. By the way, what I find that I'm wondering about is how much does what gets shared with the president? So Biden apparently must know. You got to think that Obama and Bush were Clinton actually spoke about this sort of thing. And Jimmy Carter and Richard Nixon both claim they witnessed a UFO. But do you think that if President Trump had knowledge of Orion's not till 6:45, got it, or at 7:08? Explain that to me, Davey. Oh, he's moved.
Yeah. So when I called you yesterday.
Okay, fair enough. That's all right.
Yeah,
he's moved. All right, so I got into this whole thing, and I'm introing, leading up to it, thinking we're going to get him, and we're not going to get him until next hour. But that was a change. They had to change. Fair enough. We'll get into it. But here's the question I have to ask. Do you think former President Trump would stay quiet? Do you think they kept it from him? Do you think he has no knowledge of it? Because I can just see the president saying, oh, you're going to come after me? I'm going to tell everybody the UFO secrets.
They've got UFOs, believe me. Little green men under the White House.
I've seen them.
Believe me.
They really thought I was a very impressive president. They loved me. They love me very much.
Yeah, I've always wondered when it comes to the most sensitive classified information, if it's like on week 3, they say it's Monday, week 3.
Yeah,
come on down to the basement. We need you to read this box. Read the papers in this box.
And even a Jimmy Carter, who's currently, or a Ronald Reagan, who at one point went through dementia. Don't you worry about the government secrets. The Jimmy Carter is in hospice. I believe he may be going through dementia at this point. I think they use the word Alzheimer's. So you wonder, is it how do we keep our world and government secrets secret? I don't know. And did they tell President Trump? I wonder if he was given that top secret information. So,
all right. So now that we're talking about something,
let's hold it all off for Ryan.
Okay.
Because he's going to be coming up next hour. Griffo's on next hour too. We mentioned Williams in the hospital. Brandon Williams. I thought this story was unbelievable. Out of, I believe this happened in the Albany, New Lebanon, New York. So this is out in the Albany area. Think about this. A 16-year-old kid, according to authorities, driving over 100 miles an hour in a Honda Civic. Okay.
I'm surprised it stayed together.
Well, that's not the point. That's not the most important point out of this. The significance of the Honda Civic is so there are a total of 10 kids in this Honda Civic driving down Route 20 at over 100 miles an hour.
Oh, my goodness.
When police pulled them over. The driver and 9 other kids in the car. The driver was ticketed. And by the way, the driver at age 16, driving drunk.
Yeah, four counts of DWI.
According to authorities. While patrolling Route 20 Sunday morning in New Lebanon, troopers saw a 2019 Honda Civic going over 100 miles per hour. A lot of times in the news stories, they'll always explain the type of vehicle, the year and make, model of the vehicle. And I never really include that.
Often irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
Often it is irrelevant.
Are we talking about it was a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Yeah, unless you have exactly. There's certain circumstances where it conveys a point.
The limo accident, obviously you want to know what kind of vehicle that is. If it's a giant tractor trailer or a Big Mac truck driving into a tiny little
motorcycle,
smart cars,
a smart car, yeah.
Well, that's significant, but most times they don't have anything to do with it. But this is relevant. It's a Honda Civic, a tiny little car with 10 people in it. By the way, 2 of them in the trunk.
Oh,
and they're doing,
goodness.
with this driver drunk, they're doing 100 miles an hour. Now, you got to say, if you're the parent of the 2 kids in the trunk, number one, what in the hell were you thinking getting into the trunk? And by the way, you stay in those. Part of the problem with going into a trunk like that, oftentimes you end up getting exhaust inside there. You can be asphyxiated. Nonetheless, there was a 45 miles per hour speed zone, they say, going through New Lebanon, which is just east of Albany. Troopers pulled the car over at about 5:20 a.m., found the driver to be 16. They say drunk. They've charged him with several counts of DWI. And in addition, there were 2 in the trunk and another 7 inside that vehicle. I don't know how you would fit 7 kids inside that vehicle.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine either. Now, from a
Plus
couple
the driver, so a total of 8.
From a couple of standpoints, one being the parent, when you find out your child was the driver or a passenger in this.
Yeah, you want to whack your kid upside the head, right?
What were you thinking? And then, fortunately, nothing happened. And then further to find out, what if your kid was one of the ones in the trunk? You're like, it was bad enough.
Yeah, right.
As it is.
And you're doing that speed. What if you stop, somebody rammed into the back? Those kids are dead.
Right. I would imagine, as dangerous as that was, it's more dangerous to be lying down in the back where there's no seatbelts and there's probably not there's certainly no airbags in your trunk. And the other thing being, you mentioned that police reports often have the make and model of the vehicle, which is usually irrelevant. There's never, like, when you read that story, you want to go, okay, what the heck were the other kids doing? Like, what were you thinking? Like, just a little quote in the press release that says, when we asked the other kids, what the heck were you thinking? They said, sorry, I don't know, whatever their explanation was.
We thought Johnny was okay to drive. I mean, we weren't any better. Just nuts. And, you're dealing with
we were doing
a
it for
bunch of
Facebook likes or YouTube.
Underage kids. And it's just stupid. Yesterday we learned the sad news. I guess it's sad. I mean, 'cause especially she's so young. She was so young. 56-year-old Sinead O'Connor has died. The family announced her passing yesterday, but did you not hear this?
No.
This was all over the news yesterday. You must have been on Planet Diamond, right? On a baseball diamond. Davey, what?
Huh?
What
I was just singing Nothing Compares to You.
Yeah. Who wrote that song?
Mike. No, I don't know.
Bob Dylan?
It is not Nothing Compares to You.
It wasn't?
Oh, Michael Jackson?
Prince wrote that song.
Oh, Prince. Yeah. Shoot.
She was 56 years old. The family announced her passing yesterday, but didn't reveal the cause of death. She had a horrible situation. Her 17-year-old son last year took his own life. Mm-hmm. She then announced there was nothing more to sing after that happened. She also had a history of mental health struggles. Mm-hmm. Last week, she posted that she's been living as an undead night creature since his death. No cause of death. Here's a little audio from Sinead O'Connor. This was the Nothing Compares to You was an enormous song, if you remember. Everything else she's done, I don't know.
Yeah, same here.
This is Mandinka or whatever.
They will be exposed.
This is The Emperor's New Clothes.
They got a southern case of the Emperor's New Clothes. I went to the doctor and guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said, girl, you better try to have fun no matter what you do. But he's a fool, 'cause nothing compares.
That was huge.
Nothing compares to you.
Apparently, we're doing a little remix of it here. That was an enormous song. Spent 4 weeks on the at number 1 on the Billboard pop charts. That was an enormous song written by Prince.
If I'm not mistaken, she had an iconic appearance on Saturday Night Live when the song was hot.
Did
she call it a president at that time? She said something that was...
No, what she did is she ripped up a picture of the Pope.
The Pope, yes.
Yeah,
not a president, a Pope, yes.
Yeah, but I got to tell you something. Everybody was like, well, that is just sacrilegious. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Do you know what she was protesting? Her protest, when she did that, she was protesting the church, the Catholic Church, and the Pope was covering up molestation by priests. And she said that the Pope and the church was covering it up, and it needed to be made public. And ultimately, 10 years later, it became an enormous story. So
good for her.
She was 10 years ahead of her time. But, yeah, really struggled in terms of really struggled in terms of mental health. She had only one song in the top 40. That was the only song that really was big. As Davey would say, the app ain't working. Just so you know, Jeff, the app ain't working. I'm hearing that from other people. Sinead was just as well known for taking moral and political stances. We said she would later reveal that she was not a fan of Prince as a person. Even though
Why would you say that?
She was like that.
What?
On Dr. Phil is where she
Is there
said
like
that.
some Bill Cosby-esque allegations against Prince or something
No,
that's
she just
so
didn't like him.
detestable?
She just didn't get into it. She said she didn't like him as a person.
Just
but
the fact that he wrote a song that made you incredibly famous and probably
you
a
would
millionaire.
think if you didn't like him, you'd keep your mouth
Bite
shut.
your tongue, yes.
Yeah. Well, she didn't. And I believe it was Pope John Paul that she ripped
Yes.
up the picture of.
Yes.
Today is National Chili Dog Day, Davey. National Chili Dog Day. You're a big fan of the chili dog, right?
No.
You're not. Oh, no, you're not. Not at all.
Mustard on a hot dog. is
Mustard
what
on
I
a
know.
hot dog, nothing more. Da, da, da.
I just want to say something.
Okay.
You know how the little
Hold on. I want people listening.
You
Go
know the
ahead.
little situation that we had yesterday
Which one?
when me trying to get that situation resolved.
Yeah, so Davey.
It
The
is
first thing or the
resolved.
second thing?
Okay, let me tell you. I like to be the person. This has never been the case, by the way. In my life, no one has ever, even my kids will be like, we'll go to mom. Davey came to me and said, I need some help on this. And I gave you advice. Did it work out?
It worked.
Okay, I knew it would. You may give some of the buffet, too, out there.
Thank you very much.
You're gonna be in. So, Davey had signed up for tickets to go to the Buffalo Bills training camp on Monday.
Oh, okay.
And he had them in because everything is virtual today. He had them on his phone in the app. You can't even, in some cases, you can't get tickets mailed to you anymore.
Yeah,
you have to have a phone.
For sports fans like me,
Yeah.
you know, when we grew up with the ticket stub, you'd
Yeah.
memorialize
You save
that
the ticket
game,
stub,
put
yeah.
it behind a frame.
You're not
they don't
getting that
make
anymore.
ticket stubs
No.
like that anymore.
You'll get it at real special events, but that's it. And you'll only get it usually if you have the really, really good seats. Everybody else gets a virtual ticket. So yesterday, his virtual ticket just disappeared out of his virtual wallet, and everything became virtual. It was gone. Everything was gone. So I gave you a little piece of advice, and that is don't forget where you work. Make a phone call and cover this thing. Make a call in Monday and Tuesday. Go out as a reporter. I guarantee you they're going to give you public access or press access.
Yeah.
And that worked out?
Yeah, I called after I got off the show yesterday.
There we
and
go.
Came through. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Davey. You know, I want you to share this story with my wife, just so that she understands that sometimes I do come up with things that are viable, things that are credible, and things that work out.
Yes, you resolve situations in a positive
Resolution.
fashion. Yes.
Yeah.
Look, Al, he did it.
He did it. Look at what I did. DiGiorno is testing 2 pizza vending machines.
Okay.
Dumb. They shoot out fully cooked and custom-made pizzas. One is at a Walmart in Colorado. The other is at a Nestle company's Ohio campus. And I got to tell you, yesterday we're on Capitol Hill talking about the aliens and all that. This is exactly what the Jetsons had, if you remember.
This is a pre-made pizza, and I would have to imagine there's an oven.
I believe it's a slice.
It's a slice of pre-made pizza. It's
I
not
don't
like a
know.
machine makes it, right?
It's pizza comes out of the vending machine. I don't believe it's made from. Right. So a human has to load them in, and then I'm assuming the vending machine cooks it. It comes out cooked.
Okay.
It's hot. It's piping hot when it comes out. And there you have your pizza.
I just didn't know if, like, you walked up to the machine and you're like, beep, beep, beep. All right, I'll take a pepperoni, put some
That is
mushrooms on
exactly
there.
what you do. I think
So it
is.
kind
You
of
could-
does prepare your
Well,
pizza.
I'm not sure you're putting the mushrooms on there or if they're a different pre-planned.
Gotcha, okay.
They stock it in a way, but either way, you're getting pizza. $70,000 a year. Is that significant to you? According to most Americans, the majority of Americans, and they polled people in 10 states, certainly not Mississippi, but saying the salary that is ideal, you must make more than $70,000 a year in order to be happy. The salary Americans say they need to be happy is just under $70,000 a year. Well, most people say that making around $100,000 a year would make. Oh, wait a minute. This was done in Mississippi. In fact, $30,000 would be good. 10 states said that
We'll take $20.
10 states say and a 12-pack of beer. 10 states say they would need less than $70,000 a year to be content. Those states: New Hampshire, Delaware, Vermont, Mississippi, Indiana, Kansas, Rhode Island. Rhode Island. It is not cheap to live in Rhode Island. I don't know what they're doing with $70,000.
Yeah, and it says
North Dakota, Wyoming, and Alabama.
They said that it takes less than $70,000 for them to be content.
Less than $70,000.
Okay, so what do they make now? I'm sure it's less than $70,000.
Right,
You telling me that?
Right.
They must be real happy.
If only I made less than $70,000 is what they're saying. Because right now I'm less than 20. I think that's what they're saying.
Gotcha.
But the average American says I need to make at least $100,000 in order to be happy.
If you're not really good with your money, and you don't, for instance, let's say you make $25,000, and then you make at some point $50,000, and then at some point $100,000. Over the course of that time, unless you intentionally, deliberately, steer funding in a certain way and save what you have, they always say, people without a plan, they just spend what they make.
They spend what they make. Paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, whether you made 40 last year and then all of a sudden you get bumped up to 8, your salary doubled. You find a way to spend that money, and unfortunately, I think in a lot of cases, it's stupid things that you don't need. You're just burning money. Buy a coffee I got to buy a coffee every day now that I have the money.
Yesterday morning, we talked about, before we left, a breaking story that happened in New York City where a crane collapsed. Turns out there was a fire. The crane had caught fire. And as it was burning, and this is on 41st Street, the Hell's Kitchen area. So the crane is on top of the building that that is being constructed. Multi-use family high-rise was being built. And as the crane caught fire, it got worse and worse, and then the crane tipped over and fell way to the ground. I mean, it not only knocked things off the top of that building, but it smashed going down into another building. If there were people on the ground, and I think only a few people were injured, no one seriously, and I believe they may have been construction workers, it could have been much, much worse. Here is FDNY Deputy Commissioner Joseph Pfeiffer and a witness talking about exactly what went down.
We had a collapse. The top part of the crane, the boom, and a 16-ton load crashed to the ground.
Once they hit the street, it was like another boom explosion, and then you just saw everybody running everywhere. Everybody trying to get shelter. The construction guys running. Even at the fire department, people they was running too as well.
They sound like Stephen A. Smith or his younger cousin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this could have been much worse, right? Much worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happened yesterday morning in New York City. Let's see. This whole thing that's going on in Florida, where their school districts are teaching that, and that through slavery. Did you see this? And this is being taught by state ed in Florida. And DeSantis came out and defended it. I mean, he really said, "I didn't write it. This isn't me." But I think what they're trying to say, I would have denounced that. I mean, I can't believe that they wrote that into the curriculum. So basically saying that while being a slave, some of the slaves learned a trade, and they learned certain things that they were able to do when they finally escaped, and allowed them to succeed later in life. I almost feel like that's the statement. If you want to think that, go ahead and think it. But number one, don't say it out loud. And certainly don't write it into curriculum.
So, again, I only know, unfortunately, what the two sides, they tennis racket the ball back and forth, or they punt it back and forth.
The problem with this is that this didn't ever, listen, is it probably factual? Yes. I'm sure it is factual that at some point, now remember, the slaves, their parents and grandparents and their parents, their great-grandparents, never got the chance to be released because they didn't become free. So the trade they learned, they never got to take advantage of. So it's probably factual that after Lincoln, slaves that were able to either escape or were released into freedom, the trades that they learned as slaves probably did help them. But does that ever need to be said? I mean, that's not, of all the things that all the things that happened by enslaving these people, I'm not sure you need to go there.
No, absolutely not. You don't.
It's
you
like
shouldn't
saying,
go there.
It's
No.
like saying that Jesus learned how to endure pain when the nails were pounded through his hands. Has anyone ever looked at that? Why would you look at that? I guess is my point.
If we didn't murder you, you wouldn't have been able to ascend to heaven.
That's right. I mean, look at the gift we gave you. I mean, why even go there?
So what I was saying about both sides was that I saw Kamala Harris had made a statement about the curriculum teaching that there was an element of slavery that was beneficial, and this being it, apparently that they learned to trade. And I thought to myself, my God, that can't be true. This has got to be a distortion of some kind.
Turns
if that's
out
really in there.
Oh no!
I mean, come on, folks.
It is true. Remember, DeSantis came out and defended it, and I look at these things very carefully as well, because when you hear Democrats come out and say they're saying that all women are bad, and then you realize that that they were talking about one specific person, and it's all taken out of context.
Right, correct.
So you're wondering that can't be real, but I mean, DeSantis confirmed it is real, and even further, a Republican representative, Brian Donalds, who is backing President Trump, reached out to Florida officials to say, this is bad.
I was just going to say, I wonder what his take is.
He's black.
Yes.
This is bad.
That he's pretty honest and straightforward. He's very critical of Democrats, and I was wondering.
He is not someone that's going to mince words. If you're familiar with this congressman,
yes,
he is not somebody that's going to mince words.
He's also one who will say with things involving race, he'll say that's not discrimination or
right. He's somebody
the
that
ID
probably,
law.
I believe, and I could be wrong, that he does not support affirmative action, for instance. So here's someone who is on the Republican side. He's backing Trump. He tells it like it is. The representative on Wednesday called on the state education department to correct its new standards for teaching black history after it suggested that slaves benefited from skills used in forced labor. The new African-American standards in Florida are good, robust, and accurate, Donalds tweeted. That being said, the attempt to feature the personal benefits of slavery is wrong and needs to be adjusted. It's like saying, well, they ate well. I mean, what are we teaching from that? That obviously wasn't the goal, and I have faith that the Florida Department of Education will correct this in his statement. So
here's and the statement that this person gave was not a good one. A spokesperson from the Florida Department of Education on Thursday provided a response to NBC News questions through a statement from Dr. William Allen and Dr. Francis Presley Rice, who are members of Florida's African American History Standards Work Group. The new standards were defended in the statement, quote, comprehensive and rigorous instruction on African American history. We proudly stand behind these African American history standards. The intent of this particular benchmark clarification is to show that some slaves developed highly specialized trades from which they benefited.
Why go there? And that's where you say, shut up, please, get away from me. That's how you respond to that, and then you move on. I want to go to one more thing on this. Completely different. The Apple AirTags are usually the little things that you put on wherever, and maybe your keys. It'll help you find your stuff, and it'll pop up where they are, and it's really, really accurate. We used them when we traveled, put them in our luggage, and we could see where our luggage was going. Really cool. I'm only telling you this because if you look up today, there's a 4-pack for sale today for only $85. you're looking for something like that. And I am out of time. I got a break. WIBX, Utica Road.
They've got a month to figure it out. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's the time the judge, who refused to accept Hunter Biden's plea deal, gave federal prosecutors and defense lawyers to address her concerns about it. The snag prompted the president's son to plead not guilty to tax evasion misdemeanors and a felony gun charge.
The initial deal crumbled over two sticking points: whether Hunter could face additional future charges and whether his tax crimes could be decoupled from the felony gun charge while addicted to a controlled substance. The judge even questioning Hunter on his foreign and domestic business dealings.
That's Fox's Brooks Singman. House Republicans cheered the deal falling apart as they keep probing if President Biden was involved in his son's businesses. He claims he's not. Today, the president will get a briefing on record heat and speak out on climate change as much of America swelters. Excessive heat warnings and or advisories stretch from Arizona to Texas up to Minnesota across to New England.
Heat indices are going to feel well over 100 degrees for several days.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. The House held a hearing trying to get to the truth about UFOs. Hearing from ex-military pilots about unexplained close encounters. A former Air Force intel officer testified they've recovered alien spacecraft. Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace asked David Grush,
do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
The U.S. is condemning the attempted coup in Niger, where President Bazoum is being detained by soldiers who claim to have ousted him from power. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said at a conference in New Zealand,
we're actively engaged with the Niger government, but also with partners in the region.
The U.S. women's soccer team played to a draw at the World Cup, tying the Netherlands with a goal in the second half. Next up, Portugal on Tuesdays. They try to advance to the next round. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
We have mostly cloudy skies.
I should say WIBX, Utica Road.
We have mostly cloudy skies and 64 degrees. WIBX news time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service, celebrating 70 years in business, 3 generations and counting. You can visit them at clintontractor.net. Utica police have identified the man who was killed in a stabbing incident early yesterday morning on the 100 block of Rutgers Street. Police identified the victim as 27-year-old Anthony Johnson. He is from Utica. At this time, police have not released any additional information on the circumstances of that incident. The investigation has been signed to the Major Crimes Unit. Anyone with information is asked to come forward. Utica police also investigating a pair of shooting incidents. One occurred just before 2 a.m. yesterday morning on the 500 block of Nichols Street. It resulted in a 17-year-old male being shot in the arm. Injuries considered non-life-threatening. And Utica police also investigating a shooting incident that occurred overnight last night on Kossuth Ave. Local Congressman Brandon Williams in a Washington, D.C. hospital after suffering complications after his recent heart surgery. A spokesperson saying the health issue needed to be addressed right away and that the Republican lawmaker will not be taking part in any votes on Capitol Hill over the next week. Williams had a heart bypass procedure done earlier this month. He represents the 22nd District in New York. That's all of Onondaga, Oneida, and Madison counties, and a small part of Oswego County. Meanwhile, Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills is expected to be a full participant in the team's training camp at St. John Fisher University. Back in January, of course, Hamlin went into cardiac arrest during a game between the Bills and Bengals. Yesterday, head coach Sean McDermott said the 25-year-old Hamlin would be cleared to take part in regular activities and that Hamlin's teammates are behind him 100%. Our man Smitty is actually heading down to Bill's training camp, and it'd be great to see Damar Hamlin down there on the field, right?
Yeah, looking forward to it, Jeff.
And Bill, tickets for the New York State Fair are now on sale. We're less than a month away, of course. The fair begins on August 23rd. Admission is $6. There's no cost for kids 12 and under and those 65 and older. A frequent fairgoer pass is available this year for $20. It can only be purchased, though, online at nysfair.ny.gov. As I mentioned, the fair runs from August 23rd through September 4th. Chance of some rain showers this afternoon. It's a bit cloudy right now. Here's what we can expect later today from Eyewitness News.
Aches and pains aren't trophies.
Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, breezy, very warm, more humid. Morning showers and thunder taper. Gradually clearing sky with some late-day sunshine, a high near 85. Tonight, mainly clear to partly cloudy, muggy, mild, near 65. And tomorrow, hazy sunshine, hot and humid, breezy at times, a high near 90. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Cloudy skies and 64 degrees at 7:06. All right, in sports, the Subway Series 2023 is a split for the Mets and the Yankees. Each team winning 2 games. The Yankees pulled out the finale 3-1 last night, holding on to beat the Mets. Their lone run came off the bat of Brandon Nimmo. Carlos Rodon getting the victory for the Yankees, his first of the season. The Mets now open up a series against the Washington Nationals. The Yankees will take on the Baltimore Orioles in the Bronx coming up on Friday night, and when they do, they're expected to have Aaron Judge back in the lineup. They plan to activate him ahead of the series opener against Baltimore. He's been sidelined since tearing a ligament in his right big toe on June 3rd against the LA Dodgers. The LA Angels reportedly taking Shohei Ohtani off the trade market. SI's Tom Verducci reports that Los Angeles won't move Ohtani before the trade deadline. As the team plans to make a run for the postseason, Ohtani has been mentioned in multiple trade rumors as the two-way superstar is set to hit the free agent market at the end of this season. One more note in baseball. Congratulations to the New Hartford 8 to 10-year-olds in the Little League All-Star New York State Tournament. Unfortunately, they were eliminated yesterday by Tri-Village. But a great run this summer for the New Hartford team. And they did earn a victory in the state tournament, but unfortunately were knocked out yesterday. Now there are just 4 teams left in that state tournament going on at Union Endicott.
Okay, I want to go right to this. And Ryan Schmell is standing by on the line right now from Fox News Radio. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are y'all doing?
Good. I'm glad to have you today because I did a little checking, and you've got all the info on this UFO thing. But before we get to that, I want to ask you. I'm told you were there during Mitch McConnell's press briefing yesterday when he went silent. Were you there?
Yes, I was there. I was standing just a couple feet away from him. You know, he came in with the other senators. He started talking about the NDAA, well, obviously a very important issue. And, you know, I started taking notes, and then all of a sudden we get this pause. And, you know, initially when I looked up and saw this, I thought that, you know, he was waiting for the room to quiet down because that hallway where they have those press conferences can get pretty loud.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of foot traffic. And usually Leader Chuck Schumer on the Democrat side will, you know, shush everybody to get everyone to quiet down. McConnell doesn't really do that. And I thought he was just waiting for the room to quiet down. But then after a while, that pause went on for a significant amount of time. I believe 20 seconds is the count. And you saw the other senators up there starting to try to address him and help him out. And eventually he was moved away from the podium and John Thune took over.
Wow. And then and then he later came. I mean, how long would you say he stared and there was silence?
It was 20 seconons based off what the AP is counting.
Okay. Right.
And it sure felt like that, I would say, is accurate.
And at that point, you know, I got to say, yesterday we saw these moments where whether you're Republican or Democrat or neither, you were unified, right? Yesterday, I think people were unified over the nervousness regarding the health of Mitch McConnell. I feel that people came together yesterday.
Yeah, oh, certainly. And, Senator Schumer took to the podium, and the Democrats took to the podium as soon as the Republicans were done, which is normally how those luncheons work. And he was, asked about it, but I don't think he really knew much about it at the time because, this had just happened. And he was getting ready for a press conference of his own. But he said, I wish Mitch McConnell well. And I think he's given a more detailed statement since then. But, obviously, he's always been very cordial when talking about Mitch McConnell and the recoveries that he's had to go through. He's had a couple health issues recently. So certainly you've seen members of Congress unite whenever something like this happens.
Yeah. Wow. So, and, you feel really nervous. I don't know how you felt yesterday. How did you feel? I would feel very nervous for Mitch McConnell.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly, when something like that happens, obviously, when you're in news, you try to balance that whole the side of humanity, which is, you want this person to be okay, but also, that was, we just saw one of the most powerful men in the United States just have a medical, what appeared to be a medical episode at the time. So, you have to get it out there and start emailing the right people and getting the information out there and handle that side of it.
Right,
so
you
you
gotta
have
go to
that
work.
balancing act to do. But then I should probably note that he came back, I would say about, probably 5 minutes later, and he was taking questions from the press, and he was answering direct questions and giving detailed answers. So, it seemed like he was able to recover from that. And also, I'll point out that he was asked, the last question of the press conference was, who would you like to see as your replacement when you're ready to step down? And him and the Republican senators up there just kind of laughed and walked away at that point.
Yeah. Wow. We have an aging political leadership in America, to say the very least. Wow. All right. Now let's switch to what happened in the congressional hearing. And are you shocked by what was testified to yesterday?
Shocked, maybe not, because we knew a lot of this coming in, and we knew that there was going to be a lot of this said. But to hear it under the congressional oath and to have it put into the congressional record and to have these things said, I think that was quite substantial for a lot of people, and something that I think, had a lot of people's eyebrows being raised when they finally got to hear somebody say, yes, we are in possession of UAPs based off of the witnesses I've talked to, and then for them to say that they are aware of non-human biologics, too, going with that. I think that was just, it's a moment in history people aren't going to forget.
Yeah, it really is.
Those who testified yesterday, are they considered whistleblowers, and did they violate any top secret information that they obtained while in the military?
They're calling themselves whistleblowers, right?
So that makes
one of them is for sure considered to be a whistleblower, and that's David Grush, because of the significant amount of work that he has done related to UAPs within the United States government, based off of what he said is involved with his background. The other two, you'd probably consider them more of witnesses. They kind of specialize in researching this stuff outside the government, and they currently don't have government positions anymore. So I would say that they were more considered experts and witnesses, those two.
So, all right, what was more significant for you yesterday? I mean, we learned the technology seems to be way ahead of anything that we currently have that flies. That was impressive, right?
Graves and Fravor, the two of the expert witnesses, pretty much said humans would not be able to survive UAP G-forces. And I think the one, we did not see this part going in. We knew that he was going to confirm the likely possibility of UAPs being out there. But when David Grush, the whistleblower, was asked about has there been any harm caused to humans from this, and he was asked UAPs or by UAPs or by the government, and he said both. Now, he didn't get into specifics about what that was and how that happened. But for him to say that under oath, I think, was pretty concerning to a lot of people, but also substantial.
He also said, one of them also said that current members of the military could vouch for what they were testifying to, but would, and most likely would speak with congressional members, but would not do so in a public setting.
Yeah, no, he put a lot of the groundwork in there for members of Congress to follow up after this hearing. He was telling them, I can get you, potential witnesses, I can get you people to talk to, and I could potentially get you locations for some of this information too. So he definitely has made it clear to members of Congress he's willing to help them in terms of what they need for their next hearing or where to look next for the whatever documentation they need.
Yeah. Wow. Well, listen, this all very, very interesting.
It's out of this world, that's for sure.
It certainly is, and you're thinking, and this is all coming at a time where the story yesterday was the current in the Atlantic Ocean is now diminished to the point where it might just stop, which would completely change the world as we know it today. We have forest fires in the 800 current forest fires in Canada, smoke settling in. You have forest fires and heat in Europe. I mean, it makes you kind of be like, we might need some help sometime soon.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting, too, I think that stands out about yesterday, and I was really hoping Leader Jeffries would have his press conference today. He might still, but the question I want to ask him is, we saw so much bipartisanship surrounding this issue, and AI as well is another issue we're seeing a ton of bipartisanship with. Why can't this be the norm?
That's a great point.
I think it's a breath of fresh air for a lot of people to see members of Congress, especially yesterday. There was no toxic politics in that hearing, and everyone seemed to be working together and respecting each other's time. And I think, there's a lot of people in the American public who want to see that more often.
Yeah. Which is what I led with the Mitch McConnell thing. Everybody kind of came together. There was no making fun. Obviously, you can't make fun of the guy, for God's sakes. He had some sort of a health emergency yesterday. So, and then during that UFO conference, everybody was like, it was a kumbaya moment here. Earthlings versus the rest of the galaxy. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
And you've got a pretty diverse political spectrum on that oversight committee, from conservatives to moderates to progressives. It's a widespread committee, and they were all seem to be, working together yesterday.
Hard to believe. I didn't know it could happen. So, all right, Ryan, thank you. Have a great day.
Hey, you too. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Senator Joe Griffo is in. Joe, I want you to hold on. I've got one more thing I want to get to here. Through Fox News, John Vandermosen is a senior biotechnology analyst. Now, this has nothing to do with what we saw yesterday with the UFO thing, but he is someone who has some knowledge. I want to start with it. John, what did you think of that hearing yesterday? UFO hearing.
I actually did not catch that, but
hearing what's coming out of it. I mean,
maybe the aliens can actually help us solve some of these issues we have.
That's exactly kind of what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Maybe they're experts in putting out forest fires. That would be nice. The Canadians need their help right now. So, wow.
Exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of us need help with the fires. Greece too. They've had some problems as well.
Yep. There's no doubt about it. All right. Obviously, I have you to talk about some of these artificial sweeteners, specifically one that's found in Diet Coke and many low-calorie foods. Where are we ready to say that these sweeteners are not only bad for us, but potentially poisonous? What do we know?
Yeah, well, I think we know that sweeteners encourage us to eat more, which lead to a whole bunch of health issues, obesity, diabetes, and things like that, cavities as well. But the IARC, which is part of the WHO, came out and said that it's a possible carcinogen, and that's at very high levels. I think they gave an example that anywhere from maybe 9 to 14 cans of soda a day, over a long, long period every day, has a possible cause of cancer. So, it's probably unlikely that would affect us, and there are many, many other things out there that are probably a bigger risk to us than the aspartame.
Okay. So let me ask you this, though. I'm so glad you phrased it that way, because I gave that example last week. They say that this particular sweetener, for it to harm you, you'd have to have a dozen diet sodas a day. Who has a dozen diet sodas today? Nobody.
Well, not really.
But the thing is these same sweeteners are used in so many products. You don't need a dozen sodas. You just need a processed lunch, a couple sodas and a processed dinner.
Well, especially if you are on some sort of a diet or a keto diet or that sort of thing, you're seeking out these products that have artificial sweeteners, so you can eat them without getting the carbs.
Yeah, and the calories. The calories is the big thing too. Yeah, and it's in gum, it's in syrup, it's in a
it's
whole
all
bunch
over.
of other items that we have on a daily basis.
So how do you respond to that? What, if it's not a dozen sodas, it's all the processed stuff that we eat. You can still reach that level of the 12 sodas without drinking 12 sodas, right?
Sure. Well, I think it's a guide for us. We make our diet choices, and there's probably things we should avoid, and perhaps that includes artificial sweeteners and real sweeteners as well. And we try to orient ourselves more towards fresh fruits and vegetables. I mean, we've heard that all our lives, right? So it's just I think it could be used as a guide. I don't think it's a huge risk if you have a Diet Coke every other day or something like that. I don't think that's going to the aspartame, and that's not going to cause cancer.
And I think the other part of this is it's kind of like I feel like the scientific world, the health world, looks at it this way, and you tell me, John, like they would with bug spray, using, for instance, is it DEET or
DEET.
And so, there is a slight risk of using that on children, but the risk of mosquito bites is actually greater. And I think that's the way to kind of look at this the same way, right?
I think you could. I mean, you're avoiding sugar in one sense, right? Yeah. So you're not getting those things that are associated with sugar. Like in children, cavities. That's a big issue, right? So is a tiny increase in probability of getting cancer more important than cavities? I would say, let's avoid the cavities, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, interesting stuff. John Vandermosen, thank you for the time.
You're welcome.
Have a great day. He is a senior biotech analyst who specializes in oncology and artificial intelligence.
Artificial sweeteners.
No, artificial intelligence.
It's just a little play on words with the two.
It is, yeah. Well, I'm just saying he's why they chose him. Maybe the AI helps him learn all of this stuff. I don't know. I'm hearing that Senator Griffo is now using AI to make votes in Albany. Is that true, Senator?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
He's not saying a word.
No, not true.
All right, stand by. We're going to come back with you, Joe. Let me break, because I don't think we've done that yet. Got a break. It's 7:22 Thursday morning at WIBX.
The Munson Arts Festival returns to downtown Utica with a car show on Sunday, July 23rd, and continues through Saturday, July 29th. Experience the best of the local art scene for free with a sidewalk art show, evening concerts, and so much more. Don't miss fun, family-friendly activities each day of the week, like children's crafts, a petting zoo, and art story with Utica Public Library. Starts 10 a.m. each day. See the full schedule at munson.art. That's munson.art.
Aches and pains aren't trophies. They're just barriers keeping pros like you from getting the work done. You know this business can be backbreaking. All the more reason to partner with someone who has your back, like Clinton Tractor and Ferris Commercial Mowers. Ferris is about helping you finish strong and feel good doing it, with patented suspension technology that allows you to mow faster and get more work done in comfort so you can feel good tomorrow. Visit Clinton Tractor today or at clintontractor.net. Ferris, work hard, feel good.
Join the Indium Corporation family. Indium Corporation has immediate openings for production operators and more at its local facilities. Attend our job fair from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday, August 1st at the Burstone Inn located at 1777 Burstone Road in New Hartford. All levels of experience are welcome, and on-the-spot offers will be made to qualified candidates with a $200 sign-on bonus. Benefits include varied shifts, competitive pay, and a safe work environment. Learn more at jobs.indium.com.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Are you searching for a better choice for your child's education? At Notre Dame Schools, we provide superior education in a safe and nurturing environment. With smaller classroom sizes, your child receives the individual attention they deserve. Looking to the future, your child can earn college credits for a fraction of the price. Notre Dame Schools develop leadership skills with a priority on values and respect. Enroll today. Visit us at NotreDameUtica.org to learn more. Notre Dame Schools, where education, values, and opportunity meet.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top-quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. All month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is celebrating America with their Made in America sale. Stop in today and explore their extensive inventory and their many new arrivals for every room in your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse style, and traditional. Are you looking for a better night's sleep? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or Gold Bond flippable mattresses. Once you select the perfect piece for your space, they can deliver it locally for free of charge, or you can pick it up yourself from the showroom. So stop in to Adirondack Home Furniture today and celebrate America with the Made in America sale going on now. Adirondack Home Furniture in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Hey, I want to tell you about Falcon Clinic, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. If you're looking for a new family doctor, they are accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, and they're accepting new patients right now. Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Zalewski, Dr. Shemileski, all under one roof at the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Dr. Shemileski used to be an ER physician, now a part of the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. There are things you can do that will assist you and assist your body in healing yourself. It doesn't mean you don't need medicine, and it doesn't mean medicine doesn't play a huge role in a person's recovery, but it could mean less medicine, and that is something we should all strive for. Check it out, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. If you have an issue, if you're looking for a family doctor, if you need counseling, or even acupuncture, all under one roof at the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Call 315-507-4751. 315-507-4751 for the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
Catch Keeler on the go. Download the free WIBX 950 app today.
All right, in studio right now is the New York State Senator, Joe Griffo. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, William and Jeff and Smitty.
I haven't heard this bumper in a long time. Where did we pull this one out of?
I don't know.
It's an oldie goldie. Good morning, Joe. Good morning. So this, as I said to Brian Miller yesterday, this is the best time of the year for a representative. So here you are, able to kind of get and hang with the people. They can complain. They can speak to you. They can share their worries, their needs, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to be home. I always think it's more important to be in a district to interact, but also to deal with a number of the challenges people are facing. I see no shortage of that, regardless of where I am, which is a good thing. People will come up and express maybe an issue, their opinion, but more importantly, maybe bring to light a problem that they're experiencing and where they need some help. And when we can help them, and many times we're able to do that, it brings great satisfaction, not only to the individual, but I know to my staff in the office too. So a lot of events going on, as you know, so this is an opportunity to be very busy.
Honor America this weekend.
That's this weekend, yeah, coming up. I'm not even sure what else is on the calendar, but
nothing else, I don't believe.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
But there's a lot going on too throughout the region, and it's an opportunity to be out there. And
how many events do you hit in a week?
Quite a few.
Yeah, you're at a lot of different places.
we try to get out there to support community events and again, to interact with people. And
Joe holds the Guinness record for attending the most fish fries.
He likes to continue to bring that up.
It's true, though. I mean, but that's a
Who
good
has the
thing.
best?
That's a good thing. He would never say that. Who has the best?
Well, I'd have to go back through wherever they are and taste again, and then tell you. My recollection is not as good as it used to be.
Smart move right there. I
think they're coming from different planets to even.
They are. Can you believe some of this yesterday?
Fry.
I mean, it's.
I did not get a chance to see anything, but I think we're at that point now where fiction mirrors life and life mirrors fiction.
Kind of is feeling that way, yeah.
We had the situation with the pandemic, right, where there are all these shows and movies about this type of thing, and then we experience it, and now we're hearing about extraterrestrials, UFOs.
I just kind of wonder what we're going to be dealing with all of this, and maybe the artificial intelligence is a good thing, and maybe it's going to be the one thing that'll help us accelerate to the point where we could compete with these beings. They can't be perfect, right? I mean, we have, they call them extraterrestrial cadavers is what they described it as, biological matter. So basically, aliens. But if they were so superior to us, the ships wouldn't have crashed,
right,
and the people or the aliens wouldn't have died. So, what are we going to learn out of all of this? Those are the questions I wanted answers to, and they really talked about how they felt that they would have to do that behind closed doors.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of classified information, particularly from
some of which they were
perspective.
doing as part of a whistleblowing event yesterday. So it is quite interesting.
I think you think this is dangerous information to have publicly available because
I think
it makes people.
I think the public deserves to have the answer. I was on a show last night that I go on a fairly regular basis in London. They were all interested in it last night and kind of laughing and joking about it a little bit.
Were you a guest?
But
or were you just listening?
I was a guest.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I was just listening, talking to myself. They would talk. I don't know why they didn't ask me any questions. I just kept talking.
It's a jolly good interview. Jolly good.
Jolly good.
But
but they're looking at this like that. I think the quote last night was, "Wow, that's the most sane political conversation we've heard come out of Washington in a long time." And I think they may be right.
Well, that may be accurate, but
Yeah.
I think in some of the instances here where you talk about classified information, and maybe because some of the activity that's going on or being conducted may be embraced by some of our own governments.
Right, so
here
maybe we're
globally,
working with
too.
them, right?
So
okay,
it's
all right.
interesting, too.
Okay. All right, stand by, Joe. We're going to take this morning, Hobeika's free money question of the day has climbed to the jackpot. Are you ready? Has climbed to $400.
Should be UFO related, I would think.
Maybe it is. I'm not going to give that up, right? Maybe it is. $400 is the jackpot. We're going to do the free money question coming up in a second. Then we'll come back with you. So hang. You're good to hang for a little
I'm good
bit.
for another 15 minutes, and then ET's coming in after me.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. Try to make it 20 minutes. It'll work out perfect in our schedule. Okay. Quickly, you have a comment from Chuck Lester. He's all upset this morning. Chuck Lester from down in the valley. Good morning.
All right, here we go. He said, while listening to you and Bill, this was on the Florida curriculum and slavery. While listening to you and Bill was right from the DNC, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, and CBS playbook. I said, on the Florida thing, Chuck, you think there was a benefit to slavery for the slaves? He said, do some research before you address a subject you know so little about. Yes. I said, would you please call in and explain? No, not going to have Bill insult me when he had no idea what he's talking about.
Well,
I said, what angle of this are we missing? He said, listen and read the Standard, not what you heard reported by the mainstream media. Now, that last point I would agree with if other Republicans weren't like, it kind of does that. And again, the Byron Donaldson.
Byron Donaldson is no liberal, Chuck.
Donalds
is no liberal, and he's not one to mince words. If you've ever seen an interview, look it up. I simply read a quote from him, and he is saying the curriculum is wrong and it needs to be done over. It needs to be redone. There is no benefit to telling kids that there was a benefit to slavery. I'm sorry, and that is what the standard, that is what is written as part of it. And I get we all know what they're trying to do, Chuck. We're not stupid. We know they're trying to say, well, yeah, slavery, no one's saying slavery was bad, but they're trying to say that even though it was bad, some members who were enslaved benefited from the trades they learned while being enslaved. My point is, this is not an NBC or a CNN opinion. It's really a Republican opinion. Abraham Lincoln. There's no reason to go there, right? Change that. That should not be a part of the curriculum. And by the way, it was confirmed by DeSantis, and it was confirmed by this congressman. So I'm quoting what Republicans are saying, not what Democrats are saying. Okay, Chuck, but I understand that still makes us wrong and flaming liberals, apparently. See it as you want.
I have not read the Standard, but I don't know that maybe Chuck has read it. I don't know.
Of course he has. 7:36. I'll break and we'll come back. We'll do, hey, Davey, let's do the free money question of the day. It's worth $400. And I'm going to give you one clue here, Joe. One clue. It does not have anything to do with UFOs or Chuck Lester. Davey, we're going for caller number what this morning?
Caller 10.
Caller 10. 10th caller. And on the line is $400. 10th caller right now at 315-736-0186.
Hi, it's Jordan from Little Falls Lumber. Summer is a great time to freshen up the look of your home, and we have you covered. We stock a variety of name brand products from GAF shingles, LP vinyl siding, Sierra Pacific windows, to Moisture Shield composite decking, and premium grade pressure treated decking. We have options to fit any budget. Stop by one of our 3 convenient locations, Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady, to see what we have in store, or visit us at littlefallslumber.com.
Hi, this is Lori with Express Employment Professionals. Are you looking for a new job, a career change, a position within your field? Express Employment Professionals is the staffing firm for you. Express has multiple job opportunities across many industries throughout our region. Are you an IT professional? Find that perfect company now. CNC machinists, HVAC and boiler mechanics, we've got the job for you. Are you a warehouse worker, machine operator, forklift driver? Find a better job now. Industrial painters, sheet metal workers, find that new job now. Carpenters, welders, the skilled trades, you're in demand. Bookkeepers, supply chain specialists, and administrative professionals, start a new career today. Our process is easy. Go to expressmohawkvalley.com to complete our online application and apply now. Our recruiters will call you to set up a meeting. You can also call our office at 315-790-5723. Express Employment Professionals. We make it our business to put you to work.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Do you feel like your current checking account just isn't working for you anymore? Maybe monthly fees are cutting into your already tight budget. Or maybe you're looking for more convenience with additional bells and whistles that allow you to accomplish more with less work. Whatever your reason, it might be a great time for you to check out the lineup of accounts at Adirondack Bank. From no-frills basic accounts to paperless high-yield accounts, we're sure to have the perfect solution for your needs. We also offer a large selection of extras such as customizable debit cards, electronic statements, online banking and bill pay, mobile banking, and mobile deposit. We also have a great client services team ready to answer your questions with our live chat. Visit our website at www.adkbank.com. Use the checking comparison tool and see which options are best for you. That's adkbank.com. Member FDIC.
Oneida County Department of Family and Community Services has immediate openings for caseworkers. The starting salary is over $51,500. Be part of the Oneida County caseworker team that makes a difference in our community every day. 35-hour work week, annual salary increases, plenty of room for advancement, and more. Apply now at OneidaCountyJobs.com. That's OneidaCountyJobs.com. OneidaCountyJobs.com.
If you need concrete, it's Brank Construction, B-R-A-N-C-K, Brank Construction. Call them today, old stone walls, old block walls, anything masonry and concrete, from stairs to cellarway entrances, basement floors, garage floors. And you know that you are responsible for your sidewalk. Putting in a brand new sidewalk is safer, and it just looks great for your property, and nobody does it better than Brank Construction. How about a concrete driveway? Also lasts very, very long and looks beautiful. Call Brank today at 315-894-3481. If it's concrete, it's Brank Construction.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, we have been handed a document this morning. Wow. And I'm going to get into it next hour, and it involves a Utican in a race in Utica. And it also involves the police. How's that for a tease, Joe?
Pretty.
That's coming up next hour. We'll get into that next hour.
Pretty
Davey,
interesting.
Davey, who's on 3? What do we have?
It's our friend Mike from Schuyler.
All right, Mike. Hey, Mike. How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning. How you doing today?
Good. Your computer working? Everything good?
Yeah, actually. Oh, you can hear me okay?
I've got you. I got you. Yeah.
I heard a feedback. I know what that was.
We're good.
Yeah, it's working good now. How about yours?
Good.
Working fixed?
We both ran into each other at Connecting Point Computer. 'Cause my computer was not operating properly. So, emergency. I can't live without the computer. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? This is worth $400.
I know, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Amount.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Are we ready? Here's your question. Before he was Captain Kangaroo, he played this character on TV. Ready? Go.
Oh. The guy from me, I don't know.
Well, that's a tough one.
Was he Scotty on Star Trek?
No, that's great, though.
Like
Beam me up, Mr. Trolley. No. Was Mr. Trolley Captain Kangaroo? I don't remember.
No, Trolley that would be Mr. Green Jeans.
Mr. Beam me up, Mr. Green Jeans.
Oh.
Yes.
No, just kidding.
I'm a captain. I'm a captain, not a doctor.
You're thinking of Mr. Excuse me.
Mr. Rogers.
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
You're right, all that. They all blend together.
Whose neighborhood is this?
Captain Kangaroo was Clarabelle the Clown on Howdy Doody before he became Captain Kangaroo. Yeah, I would have accepted a clown, even if you didn't know the name. But it was, that's where he got his start. You know, he was also in the military and fought in World War II. Captain Kangaroo was at the Battle of Iwo Jima.
What was his rank?
I don't know the answer to that.
All right, Captain.
I don't know the answer. All right, Manaski. Manaski's usually the one that asks the questions that I don't know the answer to. Mike, we're going to give you the Utica All-in-One Fun and Food and Fun card from Aquavino, Babes, 72, Taylor and the Cook, and any of the concession stands at Adirondack Bank Center and Nexus. And Aquavino, brand new in New Hartford. If you've not checked it out, it's delicious. So stand by. We'll, they moved from where they were to over there, and it's really, really nice. Good food.
Sounds awesome.
All right, stand by, and Davey's going to hook you up, okay?
Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you. Captain Kangaroo was pretty big in the military. So, what are you hearing from people, Joe? What is their biggest worry? I asked this of Brian Miller the other day.
Well, I think you saw
out of Albany. What are you hearing from when you walk up to somebody? They say, "I can't believe what's going on in Albany. Why are they doing blank?"
Well, I think the biggest concerns are public safety as well as affordability, and people are worried about whether they're going to be able to continue to afford to live in our state, and they just are not happy with some of the policies and the direction that the state is taking right now. So I think many of them believe the state is headed in the wrong direction. Concern is that even though that seems to be an overwhelming majority, that they have last year had the opportunity to select somebody to lead us.
I know.
And the person leading us in a direction they don't want, many of them supported initially, I think. So I think it's coming to a point where people really are fed up, frustrated, and want to see some change. But I'm not sure how. Not going to be for at least another 3 years at the top.
So do you feel the districts are set for the state positions? Is it set for the Senate? Because I know the congressional lines are possibly going to be redrawn.
And that's ridiculous. I mean, at this point in time, because these congressional lines were drawn by a special court-ordered master who came from Carnegie Mellon, a professor.
Right,
so there was no partisan politics involved in the drawing of those lines.
You know what happened, though? But Republicans had a good midterm in New York, and now they want to change.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and if you heard the way the appellate court made the ruling, and it was 3-2, basically saying, well, this was only intended for one time. I mean, give me a break. Everybody knows that this is every 10 years the census is conducted, and everybody was guilty of gerrymandering, both sides, for a long time. But the people of New York spoke when we passed a law that created this independent redistricting commission, and the people ratified that. So it's a constitutional amendment, and that's why we sued last year, because when there was it was a delay a game tactic by the commission, because both sides, the majority side realized, well, if they just drag their feet and don't agree to anything, it's going to be forced to go back to the legislature. And then they now have super majorities, the Democrat majorities. They'll draw the lines, and it'll go back to the old approach that was done before between Democrats and Republicans. But the difference is the people of New York expressed and agreed that we should do it differently. So that's why there were lawsuits initiated, and as a result, the court made a determination, the highest court of the state of New York. And even that now they're trying to kind of stack it. The new chief judge just hired a major Democrat staffer as his top aide. So that's what I think. I don't blame Hakeem Jeffries for trying to change the dynamic, but it's wrong. If a court had not been involved, and if a special independent master, a professor, had not, and from another state, not drawn these lines, then I think you could make an argument. But
it should remain here for at least the next 8 years.
But for somebody to say now, well, it was only intended for 1 year. Oh, come on, seriously?
I
mean, that's where people are losing confidence in government.
And by the way,
see these tactics now.
I feel like our 22nd congressional district is lined pretty well. It would be nice if it included Herkimer County, the Mohawk Valley. Considering we're really they're part of this community, but otherwise it keeps Oneida County intact, and I think that's better than what some previous models look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you're gonna see though now, you were asking is, and the same thing happened with the assembly. The reason the assembly lines were redrawn was because they underwent the same process as the Senate. And when the court said the Senate was wrong, well, how could the Assembly be okay? It was the same process. So that's why they had to be redrawn. And that, again, was reasonable. And actually the judge made I thought, a decision that was based not only on fact, but also took a reasonable approach. Saying we're not going to have you run 3 times in a row. We're going to say the next time you run, you will be under these new lines that will be drawn, because that's what should have been the case to begin with. The congressional were already resolved. So right now, your state lines will remain the same, to answer your question. And then the congressional lines potentially could be redrawn, depending on how the courts. Now, this will go to the highest court of New York again, who last year ruled that this is the way it should go, but now could change that ruling because there's a new composition of the court. A new chief judge, some new judges who have been added.
could look at it differently.
So
Yep.
now they could say, hey, it's new personalities. They're looking at the law differently. But that would be BS, in my opinion, because that would politicize a court, and that's wrong. And that's what we should never do.
Stand by, hold your question if you could. I've got another one for you. Kathy has one for you. Kathy is in Rome. Kathy, you're on with Senator Griffo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to ask,
Yeah.
do your colleagues ever look at the other states and say, hey, they don't have this tax, they don't have that tax, and they're managing real good? I'm having a friend who they're going to have their first job. They're moving to South Dakota, and their starting pay is $70,000. And some of their taxes, they have certain taxes that we don't have, vice versa. I mean, I know New York, it seems like New York State is just out there to grab everything for everything on people.
All right. Joe, how do you respond to
Well,
Kathy?
I agree with Kathy, and she's right. I mean, we do look at best practices in different states. The problem, again, Kathy, is who's in charge, and they make the policy. We believe from my conference, we have proposed, because it's not enough to just criticize or condemn. You need to provide constructive alternatives and then let the people make decisions accordingly. So we have attempted to do that, to say we see an affordability crisis. Here's what we would do to lessen the tax burden on the people of the state of New York. Here's how we would ease regulatory and mandates on communities and businesses. So we have made a number of proposals that I think would be beneficial and work. But again, the current structure and the people in charge were under one-party control. With a downstate-dominated leadership, they see the world differently and feel that we need to. Well, the argument they'll use is we're accustomed to these services, the level of service, and in order to achieve that, we need to be able to raise revenue. But I don't buy that. I mean, there are different ways to do this. So Kathy's point is well made. The problem is people see it differently who are in charge.
Manaski.
What happens when the school districts buses have to be electric? Who's going to be paying for all these buses? And I'll hang up and listen.
All right. Well,
you're right, Kathy.
Right.
You're right, Kathy. I think the energy policy, I think, has been a problem too. And I'm not against embracing clean energy and moving in the direction to look at renewables, but we need to do that in a reasonable, realistic method and time frame. And I don't think that's happening. So the electric bus issue is a perfect illustration of that. Many school districts have said they're not going to be able to afford it, and we don't even know how it will work because of the climate that we have here in the winter and how that will affect their operational capacity. So there's so much at stake here, but unfortunately, again, this was passed by the. We are in a democracy. People elect these, legislators and executives, and as a result, right now in New York, you're under one-party control, and they're seeing the world this way. So you're going to get a lot of this stuff, and I hear your frustration, and I share that frustration.
Yep. Okay. We're trying to jam in as many before you leave us. I think it's your clock might be fast. Here's Manaski.
This came from Greeley on the Florida issue. I will wait on this.
Yeah.
I hear Greeley may be in town again.
He'll be here this
there's
weekend
a big
because
show.
The Saturday night, I believe, there's a classified reunion happening out at Sylvan Beach, and that'll be a cool event this weekend. Let's see. I have Joe in Frankfurt with a question. Hi, Joe. You're on with Senator Griffo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great
Senator
name.
Griffo, what's your position? I probably think I know regarding that movement where they want to take town and village justices and just to make them all attorneys, especially in the bigger villages and towns. They're trying to do away with the lay judges and make them all attorneys. What's your position on that?
Yeah, I don't support that. I think we have if you want to look at major electoral reform, that's one thing. And if you could I always believe when you're going to affect a particular segment of society, you should get their input. If you're going to do educational issues, you should talk to teachers and administrators and Board of Education members. If you're going to do bail, you should talk to law enforcement, prosecutors, and defense attorneys. We don't do that in Albany. So in this case, I don't agree with the proposal, as you indicated, because we have established a structure here. Now, if you think we should move in a different direction, that's something that should be really evaluated, examined, and have people to provide input in. But at this point in time, I don't support that. I think this system has worked well for a long time. There's a lot of training involved in getting people. It's hard to get people to even run for office. But no, so I don't support the proposal.
Okay, all right.
I've been a judge for 31 years, and
I like that, Judge Joe.
Judge Joe.
I've been judge for 31 years, retired, and the Judicial Commission, comparing the number of non-lawyer judges to lawyer judges, there's been a lot of lawyer judges that have been brought up for discipline actions with the Judicial Commission.
Yeah, no, I totally understand it. I have a respect for the legal profession, but I don't think you need to be a judge. In order to be a judge, you need to be a lawyer in order to make the right decisions and to be fair.
Because ultimately, you have, Joe, in Frankfurt, you have courts over top of you, so a person has the right to be able to challenge that and appeal. And as you make your way up through the court system, people become more and more legally trained. So there's a means to do it. I just don't know that you could get. There would be enough attorneys out there that'd be willing to come out on a Thursday night and do traffic court.
Now, what village or town's going to pay $9,000 for a whole year?
Right.
What attorney's going to take it other than maybe an attorney that doesn't have a very good practice?
Right. Yeah, good point. Okay, Joe, and Joe, thanks for your service.
All right, thank you.
Did you ever have to deal with me on a speeding ticket down there?
I think you were the guy that when I was sitting up on the bench, all I could see was the top of the head. I couldn't see anything else.
Good answer. I love it.
That's the way they put us in the studio here now, Joe.
It looks that way here, too. Joe, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right.
That was a great answer. You can tell why he was a judge.
Yeah, see.
He's quick on his feet. I have one more here, and I know you're going to tell me you have to leave. South Dakota is running a very aggressive ad campaign on New York TV, telling people they have high pay and lots of jobs. What are we doing in New York? What are we going to do?
Well, I mean, I think it's a similar question, and all states are running ads promoting both their tourism as trying to get visitors to the state, as well as trying to attract and recruit people to relocate. But I think you don't need to even do that here. If we continue to make life so burdensome here, if people are afraid because of crime, if people can't afford with the cost of living, to continue to support their family and to have what they need, discretionary spending to do other things that they want, they're gonna move out of the state. And you see that statistically in our census data. So I hear that, and I think what we need to do is change our policy.
What kind of jobs in South Dakota? Do we know what kind
I
of jobs?
Know
It's just there is a booming industry in New York between Marcy and Micron and Albany and
a lot of stuff going on.
The tech industry. Those are good paying jobs.
It's like another school district saying we pay $110 for a substitute. Where you're going, they only pay $85, so come to us. That's what they're trying to do.
But beyond that, it's how you want to live your life.
Yeah,
right?
do you want to live there? Finally, I know you're late. Davey, you're going to, hold on, stay here. You're going to run out, get the next door for Joe, help him to his car because he's running late. Last question. I got yelled at. We had Joel Barkin on, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Talking about everything going on at the United Nations, the Turning Stone. I got yelled at. I think the quote was, "Nice commercial for Turning Stone, jackass." I think that's what the guy said to me yesterday. Bull crap. They are investing $370 million. And in addition to everything they've invested, how can you, and look at the money that's coming in as part of the land claim, how can you not just look in awe at what they're doing out there?
We need to be supportive and to continue to work in partnership and to collaborate with everyone and everything in this region.
Yeah.
And we have to believe in one another, support one another, and respect one another. And I think the $370 million investment by the Turning Stone Enterprises is significant and important. They are a major part of this region, not only as an employer, but in what they do in contributions and support of the community. We saw Vernon Downs celebrate its 70th, so let's embrace everyone here. Let's be proud of what's being done, and let's continue to work together to make more things happen.
Love it. All right, Joe, go. You're way behind. Davey, get ready. Get ready. Take him out, Davey. Follow him. Take him out. Yeah. Well, don't take him out, Davey.
See ya.
Open the door. Get him ready. He's got to go. We kept him about 15 minutes longer than we were supposed to. You know we're going to get yelled at for that. Open that side door for him and help him to the car. Guide him to the street. We at least got to make it look like we're helping. That's really what we're doing.
Even though it's our fault.
Yeah, it's completely our fault. Yeah. All right, got a break. News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
It made Republicans happy. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This plea agreement was a sweetheart deal of Hunter Biden, and I'm glad that the judge refused it yesterday. It shows that no person's above the law.
That's what Republican Congressman Jason Smith just told Fox. He's the one who filed a brief in the case urging the judge to consider political interference. IRS whistleblowers allege that benefited the president's son, who ended up pleading not guilty for now to tax evasion misdemeanors and a felony gun charge.
So this plea deal is not over. Hunter entering a not guilty plea, but he could change it to a guilty plea when both parties return to that courthouse in Wilmington for a follow-up court date on August 25th. Now, one of the big sticking points in the case yesterday was more potential charges coming to Hunter Biden, whether he will be charged with being an unregistered foreign agent.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. That's all related to Hunter Biden's time on a Ukrainian energy company's board as Republicans investigate his business dealings. And if his father was involved, the president insists he was not. Now, President Biden will today get a briefing on record heat that keeps searing the Southwest, and he'll speak out on climate change with excessive heat warnings and advisories stretching today from Texas to Wisconsin to New England to Virginia.
The heat has some northeastern cities like D.C. and Boston declaring heat emergencies. This will open cooling centers.
That's Fox Weather's Katie Byrne. Are aliens real? A whistleblower told a House UFO hearing the government's been dealing with them a long time.
I like to use the term non-human. I don't like to denote origin. Keeps the aperture open, both scientifically. Right. Certainly, like I've discussed publicly previously, 1930s.
That's former Air Force Intel officer David Grush. He's testified they've recovered alien spacecraft, maybe even non-human remains. There's a different mystery in Montana where Alicia Navarro walked into a police station 4 years after the autistic teen went missing in Arizona after writing a note to her mother saying she was leaving. Police are trying to figure out what happened. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 73 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:02. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service, celebrating 70 years in business, 3 generations and counting. Visit them at clintontractor.net. Utica police have released the name of the man who was stabbed to death early yesterday morning on the 100 block of Rutger Street. Police identifying the victim as 27-year-old Anthony Q. Johnson of the city of Utica. Police say he was pronounced dead at the hospital despite multiple life-saving efforts. The investigation being handled by the Major Crimes Unit. Police have not released information on the circumstances they believe led up to his stabbing and death. Meanwhile, Utica police investigators also looking into 2 separate shooting incidents. One occurred just before 2 a.m. yesterday morning on the 500 block of Nichols Street. A 17-year-old was shot in the arm. He is expected to survive. And Utica police reportedly also looking into an overnight shooting last night on Kossuth Ave in Utica. Local Congressman Brandon Williams in a Washington, D.C. hospital this morning after suffering complications following his recent heart surgery. A spokesperson for his office saying the health issue needed to be addressed right away and that the GOP lawmaker will not be taking part in any votes in Washington this week. Williams had a heart bypass procedure done earlier this month. He represents New York's 22nd congressional district. Meanwhile, Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills expected to be a full participant in the team's upcoming training camp at St. John Fisher. Back in January, Hamlin went into cardiac arrest during a game between the Bills and Cincinnati Bengals. Yesterday, head coach Sean McDermott said the 25-year-old has been cleared to take part in regular activities and that Hamlin's teammates are behind him 100%. And tickets to the Great New York State Fair now available. Tickets are $6, but there's no cost for kids 12 and under and those 65 and older. Also, they are selling a frequent fairgoer pass for $20. That can only be ordered online at nysfair.ny.gov. The fair starts on August 23rd. WIBX News Time coming up on 8:06. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, breezy, very warm, more humid. Morning showers and thunder taper. Gradually clearing sky with some late-day sunshine, a high near 85. Tonight, mainly clear to partly cloudy, muggy, mild, near 65. And tomorrow, hazy sunshine, hot and humid, breezy at times, a high near 90. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Right now, cloudy, 73 degrees. It is 8:06. In sports, the Yankees and Mets split the Subway Series as the Pinstripes won 3-1 last night, holding off the Mets. Carlos Rodon picked up his first win of the season for the Yankees. They're now 54-48. The Mets dropped to 47-54. Mets will now open up a series against the Washington Nationals. Good news for the Bombers. They're getting one of their bombers back. The New York Post reports they plan to activate Aaron Judge ahead of Friday night's series opener against the first-place Baltimore Orioles. Judge has been sidelined with a torn ligament in his right big toe since June 3rd in a game against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The L.A. Angels reportedly taking Shohei Ohtani off the trade market. Reports say L.A. will not move Ohtani before the trade deadline, and they plan to make a move and a run for the postseason. Ohtani will become an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. Meanwhile, the Angels were involved in a rather significant trade last night. Lucas Giolito has been acquired by the Angels alongside reliever Reynaldo Lopez. In return, the White Sox receiving catcher Edgar Quero and left-handed pitcher Kai Busch, two of the top three prospects in the L.A. Angels farm system. Giants starting left tackle Andrew Thomas gets a new contract, becoming one of the highest-paid offensive linemen in league history. The deal reportedly worth 5 years and $117 million. Also, Aaron Rodgers is reworking the details of his contract. Under it, he'll now be guaranteed $75 million over the next 2 seasons. And a congratulations to the New Hartford Little League All-Star team, the 8 to 10-year-olds. Unfortunately, they were eliminated from the New York State tournament yesterday by Tri-Village. But they did win the District 10 championship. Of course, they got through regionals, and they were one of the final 6 teams remaining in New York State. So congratulations to them. I know they had hoped for more, but it's nothing to hang your head about. So
at what point? So we got to be pretty close to the World Series, right?
Yeah, so it gets a little confusing because they do all the international ones at different times. Like some countries did their Little League tournament in like February and April.
Yeah.
For this up now, but keep in mind though, this New Hartford group we're talking about are the 8 to 10-year-olds.
Oh, okay. So
the big one in Williamsport that gets all the ESPN coverage. That's the 10 to 12-year-olds.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right, there you have that. Yesterday, an announcement in Rome, a new $105 million affordable housing complex is planned for the open field in South Rome. It'll be named Copper Village, and Mayor Jackie Izzo is on the line right now to talk about that. Mayor, good morning.
Good morning.
So let's talk about this this announcement, by the way, from yesterday, which is on the water. The drawings look really impressive.
This is going to be a beautiful project on the waterfront in South Rome, going to target disabled veterans and veterans of all walks of life, along with workforce and senior citizens. So we're pretty proud it got to this point, because when we did our community needs survey back in 2016, these were some of the groups that were targeted in that survey where we had service gaps. But the project is going to be spectacular. It's also going to feature on-site daycare and healthcare services right there in the 250-unit complex. We were out on the site yesterday, obviously, and we're doing the James Street overlook right now, and there's a walking path that takes you under the bridge from that site. Once the site is cleared and you can see the water, it will be a really, really pleasant place to live.
Yeah. Listen, any place you can do on the water is, especially for us, is a big deal.
Well, in Rome, we always think about the water as being only at Lake Delta. We forget about the canal, which is in our whole southern and runs through our southern part of Rome and the western part of Rome. And this piece of land, which is owned by Human Technology Corporation and their developers, Penrose, really sets itself up to be a really great place to live, affordable. We need to find spaces for people that can live in a setting like that, be able to afford it, and really have an enjoyable experience here in Rome. And it's walkable to parks and other amenities. So I think this is really going to be, and to make $105 million investment anywhere in Rome, but in South Rome, is really significant.
So in all, how many units are we talking about?
250 units.
250.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a very large project. This will be the single largest affordable home investment ever in the city of Rome. This surpasses some of our market rate projects that we have ongoing now with Air City and Delta Luxury.
Mayor, I'm sorry. Did you say exclusively for veterans?
No. That will be one of the groups that are going to be targeted for this. Veterans, seniors, and workforce. And they are also partnering with a organization called Soldier On, and they have projects like this all over the state, and not only our state but other states. But they really have their hands on the veterans that are really in need now. So they have close contact with many people in our area, so we're looking forward to working with them too.
All right, this is a big deal, and I also find that you make a good point on the canal. We're now starting to, as a state, develop and allow development on the canal, something that you couldn't do years ago, which never made sense to me.
Well, yes, this is very different. Obviously, there's a blue line anytime you own land near any water source. But the cooperation of the Canal Authority, the canals, and NYPA, because the canals are underneath the New York Power Authority now, has been great. They are 100% supportive. They have been engaged. I want to give a special kudos to Tim Geruso from Human Technologies Corporation. He came on around the same time that I did in 2016, and when we announced the DePaul project, also in South Rome, which is a companion project to this, he was involved in all of our meetings. He came to all the community needs assessment engagements because he was looking for something along the canal where he thought it might be with kayaking with veterans, because he was familiar with that from Rochester. But as he got looking around more and more, he was also looking for opportunities for the clients at Human Technologies to be able to have jobs, supportive jobs in facilities like this, and that will be part of this as well. He's really stuck to it, and it's been a pleasure working with him for well over 5 years on this project. It takes so long to get these projects to a point where they can be announced, and then financing can be secured over the next year.
So, again, to clarify, there's a percentage of the units that will be dedicated to military veterans with disabilities and to the elderly.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then the workforce. So
okay.
any middle income earner will be eligible. And of course, in a project of this size, that's going to be a significant number of people that will be able to live there that are not one of the targeted populations. So it's going to be a very mixed community that will be living in Copper Village.
Okay. All right. Mayor, great news. Thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great day, Mayor Jackie Izzo in Rome. And if you look at the mock-up, there's a picture of it in today's Rome Sentinel. It's going to be a really impressive place to live. Isn't that cool? And that's right on the canal. All right, got a break. Hold on tight. Coming up, Utica, police report, campaign. Put all that together, and that's what we're going to talk about next. It's 8:15 at WIBX.
Join the Indium Corporation family. Indium Corporation has immediate openings for production operators and more at its local facilities. Attend our job fair from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday, August 1st at the Burrstone Inn located at 1777 Burrstone Road in New Hartford. All levels of experience are welcome, and on-the-spot offers will be made to qualified candidates with a $200 sign-on bonus. Benefits include varied shifts, competitive pay, and a safe work environment. Learn more at jobs.indium.com.
The Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida Counties is your community foundation. Together, we've invested $125 million in the community, thanks to people, families, and businesses that want to give back and build a brighter future. And you don't have to have big bucks to make a big difference. Join us as we invest in the future of our community. Learn more about your community foundation at foundationhoc.org.
At SimpliSafe, your safety is the only thing that matters. Introducing 24/7 Lifeguard Protection, only from SimpliSafe Home Security. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
There are companies that go from fair to fair and show to show and sell mattresses and massage chairs. This is Kevin Fear from Mattress Express. The New York State Fair is right around the corner. Companies like this will be there. Every year, it seems people come into my store after the state fair and say weeks later, we finally got our mattress or our massage chair, and it's not what we thought it was going to be. It doesn't feel the same, and this company is gone. They've left town. We don't know what to do, and we spent a lot of money. Don't make that mistake. Take a picture of the massage chair or take a picture of the mattress, get a picture of the model, bring it to Mattress Express. We will meet or beat the price. There's a very good chance we have that mattress in stock. No one has all the brands under one roof that Mattress Express has. When you buy from Mattress Express, for the same price or less, you'll get local delivery, local service. When there's a problem, you'll be able to pick up the phone or come in and talk to someone. Don't make the mistake of buying at the State Fair. Come to Mattress Express.
The Rome Capitol Theater presents the summer stage production of Disney's The Little Mermaid, August 3rd, 4th, and 5th at 7:30.
That voice, I must find it.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Reserved seat advance sale tickets are available now for the summer stage production of Disney's The Little Mermaid, August 3rd through 5th at the Rome Capitol Theater. For more information, visit romecapital.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Thank you. In studio here right now, before we get to any of the Utica stuff, Kate Chiavi is in studio with us here this morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me
So
again.
she was the winner of our national anthem contest with the Boilermaker.
Yeah.
And while I was not there for Boilermaker Sunday. We got everything all set up. Manaski
Believe
handled
me, it was incredible.
It was perfect, I've heard. Just as Trump would describe it. Very, very nice. But the word is on the street, you did a great job with the anthem. The timing was perfect for the flyover.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was really, like, the whole experience was just, like, incredible.
Yeah.
And I'd never been to the post-race party, so I had no idea what it was going to be like, but I felt so, like, comfortable, and it had so much fun. And just the whole crowd was huge, way bigger than I expected.
When you look out into that crowd, it's so impressive, isn't it?
It really was.
Yeah,
I'd never seen, like, that many people in, like, one place, at least performing live, and it was crazy, and it was definitely an experience I will never forget.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
really, really cool.
So what have you been up to since then? Any other live performances?
No live performances yet, I will say, but I am currently working on a new song that no one's ever really, like, heard before, except, like, family, friends, and school people. I'd consider it my best song, so I'm producing that right now, and I'm so excited to, like, share that when it's done and out. It's a really cool song in my opinion, so I'll definitely be sharing that.
We'd love to have you come back and perform in studio.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'd love to come back.
So when you say you're producing it right now, it's so different today. Years ago, like when I was a kid, and I remember writing a song, and I sent it off to this, it was the back of a magazine, and they said, if you've written a song, send it, and, you know, we may copyright it, we may, you know, it could be really big. And I remember getting the letter back, and they loved my song. They wanted to publish the song, and it was only going to cost me $500. So I learned quickly it was a scam. Today, you can do it all on your own. You don't need some record company today, right?
It's crazy how much it's, like, evolved into that. It's like I can publish my own music through, like, what are they called? Distributing services.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to, like, pay the big guy or, like, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's really, like, you can do a lot of it on your own, especially with production, like how much technology has advanced as well. So I barely know anything about, like, technology and, like, you know, stuff like that, but I can still make my own music.
Yeah.
And it's, like, just really accessible to, like, all sorts of people, whether it's, like, GarageBand or whatever you're using. People publish songs all the time now.
What are you using? Are you using GarageBand?
Right now I'm using Logic Pro on
Which
my
is
iPad.
an awesome program.
That is
Love
one of the best. Yeah.
Logic, yeah.
It's a good program, but I started off with, like, really cheap free ones online, and now I'm here. So it's like you can start anywhere, really, whether that's GarageBand.
And Logic Pro is it's an Apple-based program, but what does it cost when you? It's maybe $100, maybe. To own the program, so you don't have to spend that much money. But years ago, you had to go to a recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
You had to pay the money to get it produced, pay for the time. Now people are just producing at home, and then you get to publish it, and it's all over, and you never know when it takes off.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool. It is crazy how much it's changed in, like, the past probably 10 years.
All right. Well, your stuff is great. We're so glad that you had a great experience. Wish I would have seen it, but we'll see you back in studio to do your next song. We'd love to hear it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, Kate. She brought a whole bunch of stuff for us. You don't have to thank us. We did nothing.
Yeah, really.
You did everything.
Especially me. Especially me.
Manaski did absolutely nothing. Not true. Kate, thank you. Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of the summer. It's going to fly now that we head towards August. Quick break. We'll come back. 8:22 at WIBX.
The reviews are in, and the 2023 Glimmerglass Festival is a resounding triumph. The Glimmerglass Festival is a world-renowned summer opera and musical theater festival that's been presenting innovative, rare, and familiar works of opera and classic Broadway for nearly 50 years in a summer-long celebration of the arts. Located just minutes from Cooperstown, Glimmerglass is an easy day trip from anywhere in the Mohawk Valley. This year's festival runs through August 20th, with productions that speak to the aspirations, curiosity, and passions of growing up, and what happens when life doesn't always play along. Critics say you simply must see this summer's versions of Puccini's La Bohème and Bernstein's Candide, two spectacular experiences, whether it's your first trip to Glimmerglass or your 20th. Visit glimmerglass.org to make these classics a highlight of your summer experiences in the Cooperstown region. Truly a one-of-a-kind summer destination, and just a short drive from anywhere in the Mohawk Valley. Join us and see for yourself why there's no place quite like Glimmerglass.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack.
You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/FREE. ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Online at CordellCordell.com, 518-554-0000, 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203.
River Hills Properties, we've always talked about how quickly they have grown over the years, because 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago, no one really knew who they were. Bill and Robin Monjo, I met them back when it was just the two of them, starting up this real estate agency, and I remember hearing how they wanted to be different, offering services that other agencies don't offer around here, and really change the standard of real estate in Central New York, the Mohawk Valley, the Adirondacks, and they have done just that. Currently, they are the #1 independent agency in all of Central New York, and if you include everybody, even the chains, they are #2, all from being non-existent over 10 years, just over 10 years ago. It's all because of the services. Your listing agent is there every time the house is shown. There aren't going to be people walking through your home without someone there representing you and there to answer questions to speed up the process. And not only speed up the process, but really de-escalate the stress level. They work for you from the very beginning till the end, making this very emotional and difficult transaction. In most cases, the biggest transaction you'll ever have in your life, selling your home or your property. They lower the stress level and do so much work for you. In Barnaville, Little Falls, and Utica, online it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Call 315-896-1009. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
It is Thursday morning, and we have some comments. We have some, any critical? I love the critical ones.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have 3 of the 4 I'll read are critical.
Good, I love that. I want to get in. There's a Bruce Karam issue. There's a political issue in Utica that I want to get into, all involving comments. Let's start with whatever you have.
Okay, so first on the Oneida Nation, this comes from Deeds, and Deeds says the Oneidas are the only party that can get anything done around here. The record speaks for itself. This is in response to a comment to you
I listen, I was getting yelled at because calling it a commercial for the Turning Stone. I'm just excited that we have this in our backyard. It's happening here. It employs so many people from this area. You know, there are over 5,000. They're going to add 3,500 construction jobs over the next 2 years. And then, how many jobs will they need to fill all of the new properties? So how do we not look at that and say, and oh, by the way, they're not asking for money from the state to do this.
So
they're paying for it.
I agree with you. My only counter to this comment that they're the only ones who get anything done is that
I don't believe that
Rob
to be
Esch
true. Rob has done a great job.
Some stuff too.
Think about it. You have the hospital. You have you have Nexus and what Rob has done. Marcy, the base. I mean, a lot of stuff is getting done. And even the announcement that the mayor of Rome had yesterday. Although I believe that is getting some criticism.
Yes.
I don't know how, but
okay. So I did not see this from Lance until after the interview was over. But he says, please ask the mayor if she actually knows where South Rome is. Now, obviously, I wouldn't have probably asked her that question because I'm sure the mayor knows
she
where
would
South
have to know,
Rome
considering this project is happening in South Rome.
She was at the ribbon cutting or announcement
I would think,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And she said, and Lance says, didn't Joe Fusco actually get the ball rolling? If so, why not acknowledge that?
I will gladly ask that question.
Matt says, hopefully she will not be able to see this project through, referring to Jackie Izzo. Rome, give her the boot. Both those comments from Matt. And then we go back to Deeds, who said during the interview with the mayor, this lady is a boss. She's been such a bright light for Rome. Imagine if Utica had leadership like this. Rome will surpass Utica within the next 15 to 20 years, maybe sooner. Utica will just keep beautifying alleys and painting murals.
The only thing I would say to that is all of those comments are from people outside Rome. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
All of them. All right, anything else you want to bop in there?
What else do I want to bop in here? We have comments on, I see Izzo and Pacenti and Griffo are off limits for no questions again. Lance, that's not true. There is a little bit of a lag here. I don't not
what are we
ask
talking
these
about?
questions because I didn't ask the mayor of Rome if she knew where South Rome was.
Well, that's not a question. That's really obviously that's a right. That's a dig. But
Izzo, Pacenti, and Griffo are off limits.
But the second question, I think, is fair. And is this something that started with Fusco? And but either way, it matters that it's getting done now, I would think. But I'll ask that question. That's a fair question.
And then
what the Pacenti Griffo thing. Okay, all right. Whatever.
Yeah, am I forgetting something? I might have forgotten.
I want to talk about the Utica School Board.
Yes.
Yesterday they announced that this really isn't, and I'm reading this from the Sentinel. As I had reached out to Joe and did not hear back last night about their board meeting. I know the new acting superintendent, I believe that's what she's being called, acting, is Kathy Davis, and she was, I don't know what they do, that she was, her hiring was adopted last night, whether you have to swear in or
approved
whatever. Approved, whatever it is they did. That was done last night, and also they announced they will not be extending Bruce Carum's contract. Now, that really means nothing.
Right.
And the reason it isn't, because remember we were complaining about this like 3 or 4 years ago? Every year they go in and they would extend, he'd have a 5-year deal, a year or two would pass, and they'd extend it again to make it back, to send it back to 5 years. Now, you would do that to keep a gem, right? Somebody who you really want. But there was so much going on in Utica. Why would they keep extending his contract? So now the contract is good until 2027. So this simply means they're not extending it.
Correct. What was do they have a breakdown of the vote on that? I'm just curious how people voted.
I do not know that they had to vote on that, but I don't know the answer.
Oh, right. They're just not putting something forward to extend it. Okay,
I don't know that they have to vote on that.
And Kathy Davis, I believe, was previously the superintendent at Holland Patton.
She was an acting superintendent there. She was a superintendent there, and then an acting superintendent at Baldwinsville.
Yes.
After the crowd
surfing
incident, which was pretty cool. So, but this thing continues to drag on. Nobody knows where it's going. We keep hearing there have been people who have testified in federal court in Syracuse on the Bruce Carum thing.
We were told
that seems pretty big.
It does seem pretty big, but again, one of these things where it's hurry up and wait. You hear information that something is coming down the pipeline, and then, I don't know, 6 weeks later, we haven't heard anything else on it.
All right, we have there's been plenty of talk about Katie Aiello and apparently an incident that occurred over the last couple of weeks. Do we have a date on it? 6/28 happened at the end of June, where there was an altercation. Police were called. We've heard a lot about it, but there's been no information out on it. Yesterday, we received a copy of the police report. And first of all, I want to say we've invited Katie to come on, and you have a response there.
Yes, that this is a personal, private matter. Let me see here. Let me make sure I get it correct. This is a private and personal matter. If anyone needs me to discuss issues as it pertains to legislation in the future, I'd be more than happy, as always, to come on.
All right, I would
did not want to decline this interview request.
Okay, because we asked if she'd want to talk about it. So it was an incident. There is a police report, and I think at the end of the day, the other party, a male, did not press charges. Is that right?
That's my understanding.
So, but there is a police report. The part about this is a private matter. I'm not discussing any private matter. I don't know. It involves another city employee. While it may be a part of their private life, whatever went down, it's you're still running for public office here. And I think that when you dip your toe into the arena, when you enter the arena, a lot of stuff becomes fair game. And it has with others. So why wouldn't it be with this?
You are absolutely correct. I don't disagree with that at all, except to say she's running unopposed. If she feels like talking about this hurts her image, I wouldn't talk about it either.
I'm not saying anything about that. I think if you were consulting her, the advice you would give, don't go on the radio and talk about this.
Because even if...
And here's your line. It's a personal matter. I'll talk about anything, but I'm not talking about a personal matter. That's a great line. I think that anybody would advise that that's what she says.
Did you advise her? Because that's what her line was.
Is that the line?
It's a personal, private matter. I'll talk about any city issues as it pertains to legislation in the future. I'd be more than happy to come on.
But I'm not talking about this. So I think that's a fair response.
Yeah.
But it's also fair that we ask the question.
Correct, 100%.
And especially when we have a police report.
Yes.
What does the police report say?
Essentially that there was damage to a vehicle. I believe it involved the door handle, and that she had grabbed the door handle.
So
and
that she committed the damage.
That she had grabbed the door handle of the vehicle and ripped it off, or it ripped off.
Katie Aiello.
I know.
Wow.
Lifting.
I'm not sure I could do that. I do wonder, though, that if this was the male who had ripped off the door handle, if it would be looked at differently.
Well, I certainly think there's always a double standard on these issues.
Yeah,
not always, but many times there is.
All right, fair enough. So we will have her on, but not on this issue.
I hope to have her on again. We'll see if she stands by that, when we reach out on a city issue.
All right. Coming up, some events going on. I also want to get into Greeley Ford on the Greeley has responded. He'll be in studio tomorrow. He's down in Florida, and he responded on that issue of the Florida Board of Education, and we'll give you his take, not necessarily his take, but another person's take on it, and we'll get to it coming up in a second. Let's do news, though. First, 8:37 at WIBX. 8:37 at WIBX.
Let's try one more time.
8:37. Oh, wait a minute. It's 8:38 now at WIBX.
Well, good morning. WIBX News Time is 8:38. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Utica police are investigating a fatal stabbing incident that occurred on Rutger Street early yesterday morning. Police have now identified the victim. He is 27-year-old Anthony Q. Johnson. Police have not released information on the circumstances that led up to the stabbing incident. Meanwhile, Utica police also investigating a pair of shooting incidents. One occurred just before 2 a.m. on Wednesday morning on the 500 block of Nichols Street. A 17-year-old male was shot in the arm. He is expected to survive. Police also investigating an overnight shooting on Kossuth Ave in Utica. NY22 Congressman Brandon Williams recovering in the hospital. He went to the hospital yesterday urgently in Washington, D.C. after suffering complications from his recent heart surgery. A spokesperson for his office saying the health issue needed to be addressed right away and that the GOP lawmaker would not be taking part in votes on Capitol Hill during the rest of the week. Williams had a heart bypass procedure earlier this month. He represents the 22nd District in New York. That's all of Oneida, Onondaga, and Madison counties, and a portion of Oswego County. And congratulations, but sadly the season is over for the New Hartford Little League All-Star Team, 8 to 10-year-olds. They made it to the New York State Championship Tournament being held at Union Endicott this year. Unfortunately, New Hartford was eliminated yesterday. They did earn a win in the state tournament and were one of 6 teams remaining playing for a state championship. Of course, they were the District 10 champion, and they also made their way through regionals to get to that state tournament. So not the outcome they had hoped for, but obviously a great run this summer. WIBX News Time is 8:39. Your Weather Center forecast comes to you from Eyewitness News. Here is Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint.
From Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, breezy, very warm, more humid. Morning showers and thunder taper. Gradually clearing sky with some late-day sunshine, a high near 85. Tonight, mainly clear to partly cloudy, muggy, mild, near 65. And tomorrow, hazy sunshine, hot and humid, breezy at times, a high near 90. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Cloudy skies, 74 degrees. It is 8:40.
Right now, we'll talk about the Seapani Mazda Move to Mazda sales event, which is back. 2.9% APR financing up to 36 months. Ricky Z's because come on in and let's make a deal on a brand new Mazda. The new 2023 Mazda CX-30s, CX-5s, and CX-50s. 2.9% APR financing up to 36 months. And you can enjoy 0% APR financing up to 36 months on the new 2023 Mazda CX-9. It's the Move to Mazda sales event from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction. It's Steve Pawnee Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville. We're coming right back, 841 at WIBX.
The Rome Capitol Theater presents the summer stage production of Disney's The Little Mermaid, August 3rd, 4th, and 5th at 7:30.
That voice. I must find it.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Reserve seat advance sale tickets are available now for the summer stage production of Disney's The Little Mermaid, August 3rd through 5th at the Rome Capitol Theater. For more information, visit romecapital.com.
At AmeriQ, we know sometimes it's not about the destination and that the best connections are made along the way because we're all about real connections, online, in person, and everywhere in between. Connect with a real person online when you need us and easy mobile access to your accounts when you don't. Stay connected with AmeriQ wherever your life takes you. AmeriQ and you. Let's connect. Membership eligibility is required. Insured by NCUA.
Hi, it's Jordan from Little Falls Lumber. Summer is a great time to freshen up the look of your home, and we have you covered. We stock a variety of name brand products from GAF shingles, LP vinyl siding, Sierra Pacific windows, to Moisture Shield composite decking, and premium grade pressure treated decking. We have options to fit any budget. Stop by one of our 3 convenient locations, Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady, to see what we have in store, or visit us at littlefallslumber.com.
Here's a true summer sizzler. At My Carl's, I got Lane dual reclining sofas, regular $9.99, now just $4.99. Nobody, and I mean nobody, beats my prices.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Hey, the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning Radio program is from Chuck Sedella and Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. I don't know, they say the pumpkin latte is around all year long. Before you know it, we're going to be talking about it. I know it's hot today, going to be unbearable today. But they have 14 different flavors of lattes at Daylight Donuts. Iced coffee, espresso coffee, of course, Seattle's best coffee, fresh bagels, fresh donuts, and a really fast drive-through. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Steve Gannett is in studio right now with CABVI. And coming up, Steve, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
Coming up,
Morning,
there
Jeff.
is a really cool. These events are huge. These car shows, and this it's a charity car show for CABVI, and the tie is Vehicles for Vision, which is also a great program. Talk about this.
Well, thanks. Village Motors is our presenting sponsor again this year, and this is, I think, the 6th or 7th car show that we've done, but it's the second one that we'll have done on our campus down on at Kent Street and Elizabeth Street. Now, it's going to all be on Elizabeth Street this year because Kent is being torn up as part of the Chancellor Park project.
Oh, okay, right.
So we've got a number of vehicles that are already pre-registered, and anybody who wants to register can go to our website, cabvi.org, and then the events page, and you can register right there. It's $10 if you pre-register, $15 the day of the show. And kind of excited because the grand prize car, the best in show car from last weekend's Munson show, is registered to be in our show.
Okay.
Oh, that was a nice car. It's a 74 Datsun. I think it was a 74 Datsun 240Z. Might have been a 76. Looked like it just rolled off the showroom, which most of those cars do.
Yeah.
They don't see rain. A lot of those.
Well, I'm just going to say, these shows are awesome, but there can't be rain because many of these owners will not bring their vehicle out if there's rain.
Well, that was what we ran into last year. We had about 50 cars, but there was weather like all around us, but not here in Utica. And then about 1:30, it spritzed for a little bit. And then the sky cleared, the sun came out, and we're packing everything up at that point.
Yeah. Wow.
But no, it's a lot of fun. I think that if you bring your car, you're going to have a good time. We'll have food there. Ed Welsh is going to grill.
Oh, he is. Wow.
Ed's going to grill.
Is he going to grill people, or is he going to actually grill? Because Ed could do that too.
No, we're doing the hot dog thing this year.
Fair enough. All right.
We're actually looking at this year as a jumping point for next year because hopefully the park will be done and we'll be able to have more activities and coordinate more with the county and the city to be able to do a few more things to bring people down to Chancellor Park.
So it's Saturday, August 5th. It starts at what time again? Noon. And right there at your facility in Utica.
Right. The show starts at noon. Registration is before that.
Okay.
So they'll be coming up 2nd Street and then onto Elizabeth Street and then through our parking lot. That's the way we have to do it this year because, again, Kent Street is...
Yeah, it is what it is.
So this is the car show. Vehicles for Vision allows you to donate, right, an old vehicle that you don't want or can't use anymore, and you guys take it from there, and the money goes to charity.
Pretty much all types. So we've had some pretty ratty-looking cars that have come through the years, and occasionally we do get something that's pretty nice. But
even the worst, you can make money off it.
Oh, yeah. No, we make money on all of them.
Yeah.
We're able to, we have again, we work with Village Motors. We have a nice contract with them. The Vehicles for Vision has generated several $1 million through the years. You go back to, but the tax laws change. That's one of the questions we get all the time. What's the tax implications? And the laws were changed in 2005. It used to be that you could take, within a range of the book value, and anymore it's, if we sold your car for a nickel, you can write off $499. If we sell it for $2,000, then we have to provide you with some more paperwork, and you can take a $2,000 write-off. But even that was impacted by the change a couple of years ago by the doubling of the standard deduction. That's a lot of stuff I just threw out there. But
so you the concept is, though, if you have a vehicle that's more valuable, you can get that write-off.
You can get that write-off,
which inspires people to give to programs like this.
Well, and on top of that is that keep in mind that all of this money stays in Central New York. All of this money provides services, helps to provide services for people who are blind or visually impaired. So you're making an impact.
Okay, so Vehicles for Vision, you can go to the CABVI website.
Absolutely.
Or reach out for details there. The charity car show also benefits CABVI, and it is next Saturday at noon on August 5th.
Right, and if you're
toolboxes. We are also raffling off a Craftsman tool chest. It's taller than I am.
Okay, I
which
love
isn't
those.
saying a
Those are
lot.
cool. Yeah. So you'll raffle off that, and of course, all to benefit CABVI. Thank you. Steve Gannon, thank you,
Steve.
as always.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Jeff.
Good seeing you. 8:48. We'll wrap it up here for Thursday morning. Coming up next to WIBX.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply and the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at HNHMedicalNY.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
At Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters. Introducing 24/7 Lifeguard Protection, only from Simply Safe Home Security. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Do you feel like your current checking account just isn't working for you anymore? Maybe monthly fees are cutting into your already tight budget, or maybe you're looking for more convenience with additional bells and whistles that allow you to accomplish more with less work. Whatever your reason, it might be a great time for you to check out the lineup of accounts at Adirondack Bank. From no-frills basic accounts to paperless high-yield accounts, we're sure to have the perfect solution for your needs. We also offer a large selection of extras such as customizable debit cards, electronic statements, online banking and bill pay, mobile banking, and mobile deposit. We also have a great client services team ready to answer your questions with our live chat. Visit our website at www.adkbank.com. Use the checking comparison tool and see which options are best for you. That's adkbank.com. Member FDIC.
Enjoy a group outing this summer at Saratoga Racecourse. Reservations are now available for the climate-controlled paddock suite, accommodating 80 guests. And for large-scale corporate gatherings at the rail at the 1863 Club, head down the stretch to the Stella Artois Spa verandas for groups of 50, or tailgate at the turn with a carload of friends. For casual outdoor gatherings undercover, featuring buffet lunch with Prosecco offerings. Enjoy the Mionetto Easy Goer. Visit Naira.com to book your Saratoga group outing today.
Hey, let's talk about Omni surgery. If you have severe pain, back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, there is help. We're talking about Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgery Center. My dad has gone there, and it made all the difference in the world. The pain, the back pain, even the sciatica is gone. Call them today to schedule an appointment, 315-765-8448. It's strategic. It's where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery. It's Dr. Hyder in the Omni Surgery Center. When you're in excruciating pain and you can't get rid of the pain and medicines don't work, you don't have to live with that pain. Call today, the Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder, 315-765-8448, or visit their website, killpain.com. Kill pain.
WIBX 950 and 1069 FM. This is Keeler.com.
All right, quickly, I wanted to get into the Greeley thing. We talked about the Florida Board of Education, and I do want to grab John Decker on this too. But Greeley Ford piped in, and this is what. So basically, we're talking about Republicans who are saying you got to rewrite this. This does not belong in the curriculum in Florida. Basically, we're talking about saying that at some point slaves learned skills and a trade that they were able to use after slavery, which allowed them to become productive members of society. My answer to that is, and what other Republicans have said, is why do you need to even go there? Not something worth talking about. But the people who drafted it were African American, and this is how they defended it.
Yes, this is from Dr. William Allen, who, as you said, is an African American. He's former chairman of the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, and he helped craft Florida's African American history standards.
He said Vice President Harris was way off when she claimed that the standard suggested slavery was beneficial to black Americans. He said her, quote, assessment of the curriculum is categorically false. Quote, as I stated in my response to the Vice President, it was categorically false. It was never said that slavery was beneficial to Africans, said Adams, who was on the working group that helped devise the curriculum. Quote, Florida students deserve to learn how slaves took advantage of whatever circumstances they were in to benefit themselves and the community of African descendants.
So I don't know.
He looks at it from the other side.
I don't know what she said. I have no idea what she said. But listening to other Republicans who are African Americans saying this doesn't belong there, I just don't know why we're even going there. And here's a good example. So you remember there was the young girls that were abducted by that husband and wife, and they were held out there in the western part of the country, in California or somewhere. And she finally escaped, right? They were at a store. She escaped. We never, ever went and said, you know, she learned some really good survival skills while she was in captivity. We never went there. I just don't think there's any reason to go there in this situation, especially when there's so much that can be taught when it comes to slavery in any state in the United States as part of a curriculum. That's all I'm saying.
What was sent to us, and I don't disagree with that, what was sent to us here, part of the quote is that the Florida students deserve to learn how slaves took advantage of whatever circumstance they were in to benefit themselves. That's from the Dr. Allen. So it seems like
that's not how it's written, though.
He seems to be saying from the other side of the coin that this wasn't about slavery being beneficial to them. It was about them taking, a bad draw and basically making lemonade out of it, taking what they could from that experience.
I completely
turning
understand.
it into a positive.
And I understood that's where they were going, where they were going. They weren't saying what the vice president was saying. But at the same time, do we need to go there? John Decker, what's your take on this? This has been kind of a big story out there.
You're talking about
Florida,
what specifically, Bill?
Florida, the Florida school curriculum on saying that slaves actually found ways to benefit from being in captivity, trades and skills they learned to benefit them after they were freed.
Well, my take on it, that's a very warped view of history. And so it's sad if you're a public student in the state of Florida and you're being taught a very warped view of history. And apparently the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, is supportive of this. And so he has to defend that. And, I think he's had some difficulty actually out there on the campaign trail defending that.
By saying, listen, I didn't write it, but I think here's what they're trying to do. It was not a good look by any means. All right, we have so much to get to, John. Let's start not with the UFOs. Let's go with Hunter Biden's hearing yesterday, which was a big surprise.
Huge surprise. I think he was expecting, I think we were all expecting for him to go in and in a very perfunctory way, go through this plea hearing, enter his plea of guilty to these two misdemeanors, and that would be the end of it. But the judge asked a very relevant question to lawyers for both sides. She asked, what's the scope of this agreement? And she got two very different answers. The lawyer for Hunter Biden said, this ends everything as it relates to the legal jeopardy our client faces. And the lawyer representing the government said, no, it doesn't. We have an ongoing investigation into your client, Hunter Biden. And then the judge said, well, it sounds to me like there's no plea agreement. And so at the end of the day, it was Hunter Biden who actually pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. He potentially could face a trial with a jury of his peers determining his guilt or innocence. And in the meantime, the judge has given both sides 30 days to come back with an agreement that she can sign off on. So a lot that took place yesterday that no one really expected.
Yeah. What about the, speaking of no one expected, with this, I guess people have expected this. The McConnell thing was unexpected. We'll get to that after. But let's start with McCarthy threatening, basically looking into and investigating the situation for a possible impeachment.
Yeah, what he spoke of is an impeachment inquiry, which is very important to point out that it's not the same as a formal impeachment like we saw take place twice against Donald Trump, once against Bill Clinton. This would be essentially an investigation or a hearing or set of hearings by the Judiciary Committee in the House to determine whether to go down the road of launching a formal impeachment against President Biden. But Speaker McCarthy also, when asked earlier this week, said he cannot point to any criminal wrongdoing on the part of Joe Biden that should lead to an impeachment of Joe Biden. So they're not there just yet in terms of launching that impeachment inquiry, or for that matter, launching an impeachment against President Biden.
Here's the problem is that when, depending on who you're viewing, who you're listening to, you're hearing accusations that are being presented as facts. And the facts just aren't there on Biden yet, which is why William Barr didn't proceed, right?
Well, that's right. Look, I think that for you to go down the road, you have to have your ducks in a row. The threshold for an impeachment of a president is high crimes and misdemeanors, and I don't think there's a member of Congress who can point specifically to the high crimes and misdemeanors that Joe Biden allegedly committed. So they're doing their work in the House Oversight Committee. We'll see if they get to that point, but right now they are definitely not at that point.
Speaking to John Decker, Chief White House Correspondent for Gray TV, do you want to add to that?
I was just going to say, unfortunately, we live in a world where people would say John's being very liberal this morning because he's not all go Republicans. Yeah.
Well, I want to ignore it, John.
Ignore it. Push through it. The
Mitch,
rest of us appreciate it.
Very scary moment for Mitch McConnell yesterday.
Yeah. Very scary. If you happen to see the video, speaking at his weekly press conference for about 15, 20 seconds and then freezing, stopping his speech altogether. And, it looked like, I'm not a medical professional, but it looked like we were seeing a stroke in real time. That's not what his office said. They said that he was lightheaded, feeling lightheaded. He came back about 8 minutes later after walking away from the podium, went forward with the rest of his press conference. But look, this is a scary moment. And Mitch McConnell, let's not forget, is 81 years old.
Looked like a stroke. Do you have just one more second for one more, John?
I don't. I must go. I'm very sorry. Sometimes you're cutting me off. This time it's me who's cutting you off.
You are you're the best. Thank you. We'll talk next week. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill. Bye-bye.
John Decker, Great TV. I want to talk about the fact that he was pressing the White House press secretary the other day, 2 days ago. Everybody was asking not about Hunter Biden. Everybody's asking about the dog, Joe Biden's dog. Apparently, it's bitten like 10 different people at the White House. So John's first question was, normally a dog would have to go into quarantine under D.C. law. Is that the case for the president's dog? She didn't have the answer. She said, I'll have to refer you to Secret Service. And then he told the story of when he was bitten by a White House dog.
Yes.
And it happened under George H.W. Bush. It was the Bush dog. It bit John Decker. He was bitten by the dog. He survived. They didn't kill the dog. And this was right about the time, and maybe it was George W. Bush. Right about it was, because it was right about the time that Obama was about to take over. Yeah. He said during the press conference that I think the dog was nervous about having to leave the White House. So
I just don't think that our founders anticipated that we would have a two-tier justice system for White House pets.
For White House pets. WIBX, Utica Rome. We're back tomorrow. Enjoy your day.
Animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
The Rome Capitol Theater presents the summer stage production of Disney's The Little Mermaid, August 3rd, 4th, and 5th at 7:30.
That voice! I must find find it.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Reserve seat advance sale tickets are available now for the summer stage production of Disney's The Little Mermaid, August 3rd through 5th at the Rome Capitol Theater. For more information, visit RomeCapital.com.
The Munson Arts Festival returns to downtown Utica with a car show on Sunday, July 23rd and continues through Saturday, July 29th. Experience the best of the local art scene for free with a sidewalk art show, evening concerts, and so much more. Don't miss fun family-friendly activities each day of the week like children's crafts, a petting zoo, and art story with Utica Public Library. Starts 10 a.m. each day. See the full schedule at munson.art. That's munson.art.
Hey, Jen. OMG, look how busy it is in here. How'd you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you'd think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. All month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is celebrating America with their Made in America sale. Stop in today and explore their extensive